Hi, everybody. Welcome to a cash game study session with pokercoaching.com. We are pokercoaching.com students, not coaches. So take everything we say with a grain of salt, whereas when the coaches are here, you can take it with half a grain of salt. We are playing in the $1 game. So this is a $100 buy-in here. Here we go, show chips in real money. This is going to be the six max game. This is on Ignition. Ignition is an anonymous site, and so 24 hours later, you can download your hand history and see everybody's cards. So you can really learn how your opponents as a group are actually playing as opposed to what you think they're playing. Some of us think this is a great way to study because it actually corrects all the little narratives you have in your head. While doing it, you got to make sure you don't get prejudiced by what you see their actual hands are and still thinking in ranges, but that's what we're going to do. And we're going to just jam through a bunch of hands and we'll put some of them in the solver, but not a lot. Mostly we'll just look and see how they are playing. All right. We're going to go back to big blinds because apparently when $1 is one big blind, the conversion factor is too difficult for Larry.
It's true.
It's true. Actually, we're going to leave this as cash this time. We'll leave this one as cash. Okay. So what should happen in this hand is very simple. Fold, 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 raise, fold, fold. Let's see if they do it. Yep. One hand played normal. Fold, fold, raise, fold. Most folding queen nine suited in the small blind, although I know a lot of people who come from the tournament side who would actually play the queen nine suited here, but this should be folded around. Just the king queen should just raise and take it. And nope, here is our first very non-GTO thing we see. A call of 9-5 suited on the button. Skate, would you like to say anything about this call with your new microphone?
Let's see. Testing, testing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of reverb.
Okay, maybe you guys could help me fix that later. This call, I really do not like it. Yeah, and also yeah, I thought, excuse, so let me see if okay, so I know I couldn't see the button because of the, I guess we have some calls on the button, right? But that's going to be mostly, from what I understand, aces. Yeah, I don't like this call on the button.
There's some suited connectors on the button, and 9-5 is not connected. Yep.
Yes.
Let's see how it works for him. With this call, a lot of people would look at their ace three in the big blind and say, well, I'm getting the right pot odds. And those people would be wrong in the world of GTO solvers. And we think they're also wrong in the real world. This is a bad call with ace three, even though he's getting pot odds. Let's see what he does. Good for him. We're going to be watching Villain 92 and see how bad a player he truly is with this call. And this is our first hand at the table, so we don't know anything. Okay, here we go. See how bad it works out for him. He outflops him. Out of position, this king queen should be doing a lot of checking, and when they have a real hand, they should be doing a lot of check raising. On this single flush board, on this monotone board, whoever bets should be betting $2 and $2.15, a third pot, not more than that, whether they have the flush or they don't. And this is and for the ranges, for the range the button should have, that jack is right in a lot of their range. And so this king queen should not be happy. And probably this king queen is in check fold mode. Let's see what he does. He checks, bet, gotta fold the king queen here. And once again, bad play is rewarded. Here we go. Next hand.
Yeah, he shouldn't even have bet there.
Yeah. Yep. I think, yeah, wrong in each part of it. It worked out for him. His hand is marginal made at best. And the best way we play marginally made hands is the standard Jonathan Little way that we all learned, which is marginal made hands, we check call, premium hands, we bet, and draws we bet, and junk we fold. That's the basic thing. There are, of course, exceptions and hands and things where you bet everything and check everything. But just as a heuristic, we start with that. So we don't like anything about his play, and he won $3 with it. Fold, 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 raise, fold, fold. Let's see if that happens. Fold, 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 raise, fold, and call. King 8 offsuit there.
That's a
That's a pip too wide, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it's not egregious. In a tournament, it's an instant call. And so you can see why they would do it. And even probably 100 big blinds deep, it's a call. Probably. I'm not going to pretend to know tournament ranges. But here, yeah, it's probably going to be king nine. And let's just look at that real quick. Here's a button raise. And this is GTO Wizards ranges. They are not the same as poker coaching ranges, but they're close enough that king eight is not a call and has a sliver of three bets. Let's see how it works out for him being dominated. I hope not very well. He checks. I believe that range-wise, I can certainly bet this. It's not like I have to check this flop in position all the time. My jack is, again, for my range, jack 10 is decent. This is a decent flop for my range against the big blind. When I bet it, the jack and the 10 make me want to bet big. The paired tens make me not want to bet big, make me want to bet small on a paired board. So like a $1.75 as sort of the bet size. When I bet, my hand is somewhere between premium and marginal made in that range. And in terms of being vulnerable, I'm really not very vulnerable. I don't want to see a queen or an ace. And if I see either of them, I still get a draw out of it. So I could check this.
Yeah,
Let it-
I was gonna say, I don't mind a check.
On a paired board, I would consider this premium.
Okay. Yeah. And then you'll just find out when you're wrong. I'm clearly not going to bet again if I get called. I'm going to,
Yeah, because something's premium on the flop doesn't mean it stays that way all the way to the river.
yeah,
But at this node, I would consider it premium.
sure. I don't hate that. And it doesn't have to go down like if a queen or an ace comes. I mean, if a deuce comes, this thing goes from premium to marginally made because he called to me. Do you disagree with that, Joey? Check
Yeah,
bet call
'cause
deuce.
his range does condense, which would
Yeah.
limit the strength of our top pair now.
And we block some of his draw continues with our king. We block the king.
However, we don't know how this player plays yet because we still have like very few hands on
Yep.
him.
Yep.
The big blind should be raising quite a bit here once we see bet.
Right. His defenses are defense by raising.
So
In this case,
Just calling caps his range, which helps if you're against a known player that plays pretty much near GTO.
Mhm.
Him capping his range makes this premium on a blank
Interesting. Okay.
on a turn.
That's the way I wouldn't have thought of it. I like that. Okay. In this case, I choose to check. I don't hate it because I did it. 3. Now he checks again. Let's go for some value and try to get called by a draw. I think still bet small. I bet half pot and he just folds. All right.
That's fine.
Yep.
That's fine.
By the way, I put my gain down, so maybe my reverb is a lot better. Echo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a lot better, actually.
That's a lot better now.
Much better.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. This is not going to go well for the 10-8 suited who could absolutely raise in this position. And I think this raise is this mandatory in the cutoff. Let me just picture it in my head. 10-8 suited. Yeah, he's got a raise. This is a full frequency raise in the cutoff. Getting the ace 6 to fold and the ace king should 3-bet him, and then the 10-8 should fold. There's his raise. It's to 3 and not to 2.5. We'll see if that's his regular size or not, or if he's varying his sizes by his bets. That's also our 5-9 suited guy. Fold, and the ace king should 3-bet. And I do, and he should fold. And he doesn't. All right.
Oh, you moved seats now.
Yeah, because
Okay.
somebody left. The game became 5-handed, so it shifted me over. I didn't move
So
because
what's interesting here is that, is this our same,
Oh, is it?
fish you flatted the 9-5 suited before?
I think so, but maybe he was villain.
No, that should be villain 88 because the one who
Maybe that's who left. I'm gonna go check real quick, just on this. Here
It
we go.
looks like it's villain
Villain 92,
92.
9-5 suited. Okay, villain
right.
92. Yep, it's him.
Okay,
That's him. I thought that's where he was. Okay, yep. So he's that guy. Let's see how egregious this is just for our friends. We all think that this is egregious, but let's see how bad. All right. So in the cutoff, 10-8 suited is a full frequency raise. He raises big blind, ace king is a full frequency 3-bet. Both suited and offsuit, and the size is to 13. Let's see what I raised it to. Oh, 13. This, by the way, this game was played in like May, so this is after I'd been doing a little bit of studying. I hope I do well. So there's the 13, and now the 10-8 suited is an instant fold, but I was seeing with the 10-9 called. There are slivers along the 8-7 calling much more often than the 9-10 and the 9-8. My understanding is there are two reasons why. One is 8-7 is small enough that we're not dominated. We're not up against an ace-10 3-bet here because there aren't as many ace-8 3-bets from the big blind. And
What's
also,
what's the EV of 10-8 suited?
let's see. So whoops, wrong button. Strategy plus EV. Here we go.
Yeah, I also assume that we're when we have those hands which you just mentioned, we are blocking 10s and 9s and stuff like that.
Blocking the bottom of his range. So here we see this 8-7 suited calling a large percentage of the time, but we also don't have it as often. So then the amount of time we're going to be here with the 10-7 is going to be probably comparable to the 9-8. If you integrate under the curve, if you normalize these two like that, just the actual number of times you have it. So 9-8 and 8-7 might be comparably good, and we end up on the turn with them on the flop with them as often. But the
But
10
look-
could, yeah,
Look at 10-8 suited.
Yep.
That's
terrible.
yeah, -0.5.
Yeah.
I wanted to see because if it's like 0,
Mhm.
then I would say that's conditional. You can play that depending on your opponent.
Yeah.
And I guess most opponents who are weaker playing in position with a 0 EV hand versus the solver, you could probably turn that into positive EV versus population.
And
But
certainly,
this is losing a half a big blind, so you have to overcome the half a big blind first.
Also, one more thing, Scotty and Joey. I would assume that since we're playing 100 and not 200, we get much less calls with
Yes.
these kind of.
yes, absolutely. Bump this thing to 200. Let me see if I can just bump it with one button. To 200. Nope, I can't. I have to do this.
You should be able to hit the arrow button and go up.
I did do that, and it didn't do it. It may not do it in cash. It might only do it in Yeah, look at this.
Yeah.
Now suited connectors all are 50% calls. But the 10-8 is still crap.
Yeah.
You got to be
To-
connected until you get to the queen. The queen, two decent broadways, a single gapper will give it to you. Okay. Back to 100 where we are. Let's see how this mistake affects him. And he outflops me in a major, major way. Because I can't have nice things.
So we might want to run this, but I think you do get checks here, especially because you can continue at a higher frequency with the diamonds.
Yep, the diamond is there. A simplified strategy of c-bet 3-bet is not GTO and is not good, but it's not as bad as some other mistakes I could make.
Agreed.
And that's the mistake I choose to make. And I get the
Well,
bad
if you're
news.
going to 3-bet c-bet, your c-bet should be about 30%. Should be more like 9.
Gotcha.
So I think this board might be a board where there's a high check frequency, but if you do bet, you're polarizing to a larger size.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think
Mhm.
this is a board where you might want to bet 20, which means you probably want to check this.
right, because I don't want to bet 20 with this hand.
But if you're going to use an exploit to 3-bet c-bet, when you're betting range, you do tend to bet small.
Right, like a third of the pot, $9. Okay,
Yeah, I find myself doing this thing too with 50%. I just click the button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I get the bad news. And I get slightly good news because at least the top pair has changed and I now have two more. I now have 10 outs at best, but that's nice. Let's see how much money do I lose? I decide to lose more money.
And they're smaller buy-ins. Nothing crazy.
Somebody needs to mute.
This was oh my, okay. I just realized this.
Okay. Well, that person is not talking to us, right? Okay,
No.
No.
Nope.
let me hit him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can pick whatever two cards you want.
Good job, Nikki. Yeah, congratulations, Nikki. We're proud of you.
Yeah, he's
That is Dean C. Dean C.
That's also
There you go. Bye, Dean. Okay, good. Nice catch. Dean is doing poker videos while watching poker videos.
Oh, you bet again?
I bet again on calling it now. It is a legitimate draw and the thing changing. Not saying it was right, and it certainly didn't work out for me. So, excuse me. So, yep, this hand got muddled by me worse than him. His mistake was small and my mistake was big. All right.
Well, his mistake was pretty big too.
Yeah, but the result, but he made
He's
him
check raising you on the turn with second pair.
raising me, not check raising me, but yes, he is. He read something into my sizing and
And it's Stewie.
He's
success.
playing some street poker.
Yep. So that really happened. Do we want to look at that in a solver or just move on?
It might be interesting just to confirm that we have.
Okay.
High frequency check, low frequency big bet.
Good.
On flop.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
check that one out. You stick
Alright,
that
why
one.
don't you guys go forward and I'll set this up.
Here we go. Next hand. And I am here. Where am I? Hero. There we go. And I did at least put more money in. How did it jump to that? Maybe we're at 2 tables. I'm wondering how I jumped because I was in the big blind before, wasn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, you changed seats. This
Something.
has to be 2 different tables.
I'm at 2 different tables. Yeah. But Villain 92, but they names don't change. We'll see. We must be at 2 different tables. Although the heads up display thinks that we're not. We'll go on and see what happens. I don't know why it happened. Jack 7, but either way, Jack 7 is a fold and it folds to the ace 10. Great. And I'm now in, yeah, it's maybe some hands got lost, but for some reason, anyway, fold, 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 raise, fold, fold. Let's see if that's what happens. Yep. All right. Looking on here. Fold, 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 fold. 8-9, fold. Let's see if I do.
I
anything.
raised 8-9.
Good for you.
No.
Well, I don't,
Maybe suited.
No, he's off the
Uh-uh.
charts, but it's suited
Nah.
easy. Suited easy. He's off the
Yeah.
chart, but it works for him because he's Joey, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you mean?
I
yeah,
don't
'cause
think it's off the
I-
charts.
it's actually probably close. Let's just check the,
I don't think it's mixing. I'm pretty sure that maybe 9-10 offsuit could be
Oh,
in there. But
You're a genius. It is.
wow.
It's in
Eight.
there. It's in there. Oh, no, this is small
That's
blind.
the button.
Small blind. It's not in the small. It is. No, it is in the small blind. You're right.
yeah,
10-8, 9-8. You're right. It just is.
Oh, I thought it was button. Excuse me.
No, I'm just wrong. I'm raising this pure now in my new in the new one. So I just learned it. I just accessed my own memory wrong. Nope. Pure raise. Go Joey. Yep. And when I say pure raise, I'm looking at this chart here. The GTO wizard chart has a mixed strategy in the small blind that I am choosing not to implement and or learn yet. And that's not a big loss. There's no big loss to changing your small blind strategy from mixed to raise or fold. This is my,
One quick question on that.
Yeah.
What do you gents think of having some ace, king, limp traps against an unknown? Like when we're playing the fast fold in the small blind.
I mean, I don't play that game, so I wouldn't know. But
well, blind versus blind, the big blind's gonna call quite a bit. So I'm gonna build a pot.
Like, yeah, that makes. So you're gonna,
If-
you don't,
if
do
they
you
have
play
the
a limping
bum-
range in the small blind?
What?
Do you have a limping range in a small blind?
No, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, there's a limping range against the GTO solver because the solver's gonna 3-bet you more accurately.
Yeah.
And it's going to play better post flop, but you're playing another human. And for the most part, other humans will call wider than they should.
Blind versus blind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think you're right.
if they have the bottom 30% and they're not gonna call anyhow, you're probably not gonna make any extra money by trapping them.
Yeah, you're gonna find yourself being coolered a lot.
Well, you're gonna find yourself cooler at 80% of the time, or 20% of the time, or 15, but I'll
Yeah,
take
but-
the 85, I'm not.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can look at that hand if you guys want.
We
That's
will,
what
and I'm
I
gonna,
need.
and I want to show you one thing on that, to answer your question about that ace, king. If you were not playing the fast fold game and you wanted to implement an ace, king limp strategy, then if you're gonna do that, take advantage of it and limp and add in a couple of other suited connector limps that aren't profitable to raise. So, you know, if you're gonna, so your ace, king have something to protect. Does that make sense? You know,
Yeah, I think, I
granted-
mean, in theory, you should be balanced, yes.
But if you're in the fast fold game, there's no reason to be balanced at all, just at all.
Yeah, that's the argument.
And therefore, give me 1 second here. This is gonna be my way of answering that. We're gonna look at the poker coaching old cash charts. This is the old cash chart. Here we go. Oh, they've gotten rid of them. Let's see if they're not.
Oh, our history has been purged.
Yes, it possibly has. Let's see if it's gone. Download pre-flop charts. No, we want we want cash. Cash may have been replaced.
Joey, how are villains different from that 200 no limit versus 50 no limit? How are they balanced and unbalanced?
They're better at the 100.
Okay, just overall better.
Now are you talking 200 no limit live or
No, no,
200?
no, online.
No, they're better at 200 no limit online.
Yeah.
I think it starts getting better around 50 no limit. But each one they're I think exponentially better with each level above that.
Okay.
And that changes in the fastball game because it gets more extremely better, if you would. The higher the stake, because the fish lose their money very quickly,
Yes.
like 200 NL zoom.
Okay.
All right, here we go. The 6 max exploitable. Did they take it out? The old 6
No,
max exploitable.
downloadable pre-flop charts.
You wanna
Gotcha.
look at the PDFs?
I want to look at that old PDF here we go.
Top one.
Top one, 100 big blind exploitable cash games. All right, this one has a mixed strategy in the small blind. And so let's see if when it mixes, it chooses ace. So there you go. The answer
Yeah,
is,
there it is, yeah.
if you
Yeah,
want
but look how much it's calling.
if you,
I don't like that.
But I think it proves your point. I mean,
Right.
we do limp trap at some frequency aces and kings.
Right.
If we
And-
were to implement a limp
Right.
strategy, a mixed limp strategy in small blind.
but look at what this says. It says, if you're gonna do that, if you have aces and kings in there, that is so powerful that protects all these hands
Yeah.
get protected.
Mm.
And these hands, well, these hands are not a mask number, but yeah, it's protecting queen deuce and 3 deuce suited. And ace deuce that you wouldn't be, I mean, a lot of this is raising anyway, but it's significantly wider there. You know, queen 6 is not. So these are things that you're using this to protect. So
Yeah.
that's my best answer. And also I misremembered things. 10, I am now, this is my small blind strategy as of today for the next several months. This is what I'm playing. Raise or fold. Everything in red is a raise, and the things that are in white are optional raises, depending on my mood or whether I've played a lot of hands, if I have not played a lot of hands recently, and so I therefore look tighter, I will add them in. And of course, if the big blind is folding more, I will not only add these in, as an exploit, I'll add in like all this suited stuff here and
Well,
maybe
as
this.
a comment, if the big blind is folding too much,
Yeah, just everything.
you shouldn't fold in the small blind. You should raise everything.
Right, raise. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Is the more he's doing that. Now, I'm not gonna do it this extreme.
Like you can raise the very, very worst, or I mean, fold the very, very worst. But if they're folding if they're folding too much, that means any raise you make is going to make a profit no matter what hand you have.
Yes, if they are folding 95% of hands, I need to be raising every 2 cards. If their correct calling frequency is 50 and they're at 45, I don't feel comfortable even though the math might, I don't feel comfortable raising any 2 cards, but I can raise a little bit wider. My first ones are these. And then I have to really be convinced to go to king to get to this next row.
And also like vice versa, right? Like if you're limping too much in the small blind and the big blind is an aggressive good player,
Oh, they're gonna-
shouldn't he be like ISOing you a lot? and taking
Yeah, although it
advantage?
wouldn't be called an ISO because ISO implies that there are other people to keep you out, so he gets against you. He just raises.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
yes,
just raise.
just a slight terminology thing there. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
but
Now I know.
Yes.
the
Well-
software, like I know Preflop Academy calls that a nicer raise too.
Okay.
Yeah. But do we pay money to
I-
Preflop Academy? No, we paid poker coaching.
It's all
Yeah.
the same to me.
All the same. It's the same raise and it's the same thing. Yep. And I should have raised this. I should have just raised this and he should have just folded this and that was a mistake. All right, here we go. King
You wanna
four-
look at that 3-bet pot?
Yes, I do.
Only because, I only wanna look because it proved my theory.
Yes.
Alright, can you guys see?
Yep.
Yeah, so on this board texture, we are checking a ton, and if we choose to bet, we're polarizing straight off.
Right.
Bet,
Would you show me the ace king node so I can feel
Sure.
terrible myself?
Well, I think you
Not
had
terrible.
suited. You had suited because
I
you
had
had
suited.
diamonds.
I
You
had
had
suited.
oh,
back
that's right,
door.
you had,
Come on, diamonds.
Diamonds.
yeah,
It's there.
that's
Not
there.
preferred, but the size should be 20 and my size was 12. So not right.
Yeah, and he's spatter,
Yeah.
so mostly up here, but we get a spattering of these big sizes with our kind of backdoor stuff here.
Mhm.
I think we wanted to see what happened if you bet and he called, but we're gonna have to use this size.
Or else we
So,
break.
yeah,
Well, no. Half pot's valid in that.
When do we start overbetting? I mean, isn't that when we have, well, of course, when the board
We can
favors
Ace
have
our
king
fun.
is a
range,
sliver.
like a Broadway?
This isn't an overbet board. When we see an overbet board, we'll point it out, but big bet board, ace king board, king 10 board, 10-9 board can all have big bets. I don't know which ones are overbets.
I also think population is folding a lot more than this.
Yeah.
They're folding maybe 40%, I don't know, who knows? But they're
Yeah.
definitely folding more than
Yeah.
26% to the size. They call. Now, the question is, you turned more equity,
Turned a queen. Yeah, I turned
and so do we get then to, yeah. So when you turn this additional equity, this card must be really good for us, because we're betting almost the entire range.
Well, yeah, anytime top pair changes and we were the aggressor, we can barrel.
that's
Yeah,
what
that's
I
a good
thought.
heuristic,
That was,
especially
that-
I would assume, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just agreeing.
Yeah, I would assume, especially in a 3-bet pot where our defined range hits his hand even more, hits his card.
There are exceptions, but for the most part, that holds true.
So usually we'll see an equity shift to the caller, but that might not happen here, so.
Yeah,
Here, he's at equity. Cutoff color is 47. This card comes. Yeah, he has a lot of equity still because he called, so his range is filtered, but you maintain the equity advantage with this card.
So
um,
I bet in
uh,
10 raises
Oh,
Three.
and then the other question is, what happens when you bet turn and he raises you?
So let me
Uh,
take the smaller size just to get the pot into a little bit. So this SPR is a little closer to real.
And also, excuse me, if you guys don't mind, after you're done with this, maybe if we could change the 3 to a heart to see if when the flush completes, if we could still do the same sizing.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
we can do that. Okay, so,
No, the sizing goes down
I imagine.
and
Yeah.
the heart, we might not have. The heart is not a barreling, if it completes a flush, it's not necessarily a barreling card.
Yeah.
alright, so what size did you wanna use here?
I want to use the 33.
Alright, you do get that at some frequency.
Yeah, or is it the 20 I'm getting? I'm bad with the colors.
You get, sorry, I'll try to change it. 33, he doesn't really have raises, obviously. Well, he does have some.
Yeah.
And the pot geometry is different on this one.
Uh,
Yeah, give me the 20 when you're done with this. That's what that will get the pot geometry closer to what it was.
I think you don't have ace king then
I do.
anymore.
Not ace
Um,
king suited, but
Don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it was that one. Okay, so yeah, the 18's gotta be it. It's gotta be the 18.
Okay, and then, yeah, he's supposed to raise. If he raises, it's only raise sizes all in, which he chose.
Which is what he did, I think. And I just fold the ace king, I assume. What ace king do I call with?
probably hearts.
Yeah, it's the only one I
Yeah, he
do.
just calls your hearts.
Yeah,
And a
okay.
sliver of hands. You do call it the sliver of hands unblocking here, but it's gonna be really close EV.
Yeah.
It's not a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Winning a chip. But yeah, you call with your hearts. And fold with our combo.
Yep,
Did you want to look at something, Skate?
Yeah, he changed the 3 of diamonds to a 3 of hearts. But I think that also affects our, c-bet
pot size.
sizing too.
it'll change our c-bet size.
So we still get big size, but you're right, we do now have some size that can fall down to the B50. We are checking at a higher frequency. Well, no, we're checking. Yeah, we are checking. a little bit higher
Any,
frequency.
but look at the sizes we don't have at all now. We don't have any 20 or 30.
We didn't in the previous rainbow board.
Oh,
The
okay,
previous rainbow board almost entirely was
okay.
B75.
And
Right.
those big bets are coming from some of the ace of hearts that we're holding and stuff like that.
So where are the big bets coming from? Overcards. And flush draws.
Ace of
More
hearts.
when we really want to generate folds down here. I assume it's because we want to generate folds.
Yeah, we get higher aces to fold. See,
Yeah.
Okay.
the hands that are going to drive the bet sizing here, it's not necessarily the draws, but it's going to start with the jacks. Because jacks are the hand that needs the most protection on this board.
It's valid, I can see that.
And this is why king, jack, queen, jack are in the bluffing range too. Because they match the 2 hands that wanna bet the most in this situation, the jacks and queens.
You say match, that means that they,
They
What do you-
share. It pulls bluffs from hands that match the pairs that want to best bet the most. So if jacks and queens are the pairs that want to best bet the most, the bluffs are going to come from hands like queen jacks off, queen jack suited, hands with a queen or a jack.
I understand your point. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So we get, yeah, so I think, yeah. So obviously you got to fold to his
Yep.
unabated aggression. Anything else you guys wanted to see in here?
That point,
Me- I think he wants to see what our bet sizing is on the turn.
Okay,
What
so
our
if
note
we,
is on the
when
turn
the
and
queen of
after
hearts
the flush
complete.
hits.
alright, so here, we now have completed flush. Now we're still
We're still betting a lot, but we're checking more.
Yeah.
Our
And we're
biggest size
betting
is
more
50%
we're
now.
betting smaller more often.
Yeah,
Um,
There's actually no 75s in this node.
Can we see if having the king of hearts or the ace of hearts, how does that affect our strategy?
so like if we have the king
We
of hearts here,
Single, yeah.
betting at a very high clip with our multi-draw.
Betting.
and without it, go to all the aces.
Well, it's not a multi-draw. It's still a gut shot, but it's blocking the
It's a butt shot with a heart.
better
Has a
flushes.
heart draw. It's a heart.
Yeah.
He has a
Yeah,
heart.
that's not, I mean, wouldn't that be a combo draw? It's got
Oh, yeah,
a draw
yeah,
to the
yeah.
flop.
Yeah, there's three on, okay.
Yeah.
Miscounting, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, so aces, you wanna look at ace high?
Yeah, a king or a
Just
ace
look-
with a heart. A king
Yeah,
or ace with a
just
heart.
look at the ace king offsuit, just click on ace king offsuit and keep all of them in for a second. We look. And to bet, we want the heart. If we don't have the heart, no, look at that. The ace king without a heart bets, we just don't have it very often. The only ace kings that check is the diamond spade and the club spade, and even the ace of hearts spade. Even with the heart, we check a little bit. The rest of them always bet. We just have them less often.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Look at that. These,
Looks like the
It-
ones having a spade are the ones that want to check.
yeah, a spade wants to check. And that, the fact that you have a heart makes you still want to bet it more, but without. No, but the ace of spades still doesn't check. No, this is a harder one. Because look, every ace king mostly bets, but the ones that check at all, ever, have either the ace of hearts, the ace of hearts and the king of spades, or they have the king of spades.
There's another way to look at this that I think is interesting, is that we go to filters. Trash hands. And ones that are betting. So these are filter trash hand. Yeah, these are our big bluffs, and these are all gonna be like everything's gonna possess an ace of heart, ace of hearts, ace of hearts.
But not the ace,
Including-
the ace king doesn't have to have an ace of
No.
hearts.
Yeah,
No,
and the ace king's a
Go over
different.
ace seven
ace.
again. Go over ace seven. Some of them was a seven of hearts.
And some of them
no.
were the ace of clubs, seven of diamonds. You do
Look
not
at
need a
the
heart
ace
to
of
do
di-
this.
Look at the ace of diamonds, seven of hearts. It looks like there's a little bit of betting in there.
Ace of diamonds, seven of hearts.
Bet 11.
There is, but the ace of clubs, seven of diamonds also bets. All the, a lot.
Oh, you have a pair.
Oh,
Oh.
Pair
oh,
plus draw.
Okay, go
Yeah,
to ace eight.
that's why I saw that.
Go to
okay.
ace eight. Ace eight, you need a heart.
The
Yeah,
heart.
you need the ace of hearts.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense there.
Yeah, I just saw that when he scrolled over the ace seven of hearts. I'm like, wait, the seven of hearts was betting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think pair plus draw is a pretty common bluff strat.
Yep.
For the solver.
No, not necessarily. However, in that node with the queen of hearts hitting, the seven is no longer marginal made.
It's now a
It
bluff.
dropped out of marginal made down into junk.
Right. Or draw.
Well, yeah,
It-
it does
well,
classify
yeah.
this as a. It has classified this as a trash hand.
Yeah.
But it does, I think it does, pair plus draw often, I think is a bluff for a solver. Which is where this is. This has a pair plus a draw.
Well, if we make the queen of hearts something more like something below the seven, I'm wondering if the seven would check then a little more often.
To take away the
Yeah.
gut shot.
Yeah, make it a deuce so it doesn't complete a straight.
But a heart, a heart.
Let's see
Same
what happens
suit.
here. This, so I'm just, yeah, this just falls out
Now,
of this
same suit.
classification.
Still hit the flush on the turn,
So
like making it two hearts. So we could see if the 7 of hearts is still,
Well, it falls out of this so first thing to notice is that it falls out of this classification of trash hand. And,
well, clear the,
but now let's look what it's mostly,
now-
Now it doesn't,
now it's a marginal made hand because it's second pair
right,
and it's not gonna bluff.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
but the 3 can. The 3 can bluff now.
Smart.
Is bad enough. The 3 is bad enough to bluff.
Well, that's pair plus
Yeah.
draw.
Right.
I guess it's just pair now, actually. There's no gut shot, sorry.
Hmm.
Alright,
Well, no, actually, the pair plus draw is checking. Look at the ace of hearts 3 across the line there. They're all
Yep.
check.
Yeah.
yeah, interesting.
And the
Because
other,
that still has some equity that might come, but without the flush draw, it's kind of borderline junk, borderline marginal now.
I wonder if this is driven by the fact that if you get raised, it really sucks with this draw. But
Yes.
here, a raise, you can fold to a raise.
So since the
But
queen
being
is now
raised off your
loose-
equity here is really unpleasant.
yep,
Alright,
and you have the showdown to go with it. Hold on,
and you've got some showdown here.
cancel that. Don't need it. Okay. Here we
Alright,
go.
handing it back to the alpha here.
I'm gonna grab it back. Here we go. So in going back to that hand, my sizing on the flop was bad, but it wasn't a butcher bet. And my bet on the turn was not a butcher bet, but it was unfortunate what happened.
Yeah,
But the line of that big bet with the ace king was the minority line, but it was an acceptable line. So checking that would have been the right way to go. Check call. And then on the turn, if he goes check bet, then fold and just lose less money. All right, here we were with the king 4 is a fold, so this should fold around to the jack 9, who should raise it, and the king 7 in the big blind, should not fold. At least not in the old poker coaching charts. So there's the raise, and there's the call, and in the world of GTO Wizard, which is our new savior, small blind.
I think king 7 might have some raises.
Yeah, king 7 in the old charts definitely did. So here's the jack 9, nowhere near a fold. There, and then when he raises, the big blind's response, oh, sorry, here's the jack 9, nowhere near a fold. And the big blind response with the king 7, some folding, mostly raising, a sliver of calling, and that's what he finds, which is what we think most of our opponents will find. We believe most of
Yeah.
our opponents do not find these bluffs here. This region of bluffs here is not found very often, but
Well,
neither are
one
these.
thing to note, if you look at all the offsuits there
Yeah.
against the small blind, all the offsuits, the other side, the high-low combos are mostly raising.
These guys here.
And then the middle ones like ace 10, king 10, king jack, they're calling.
Jets, what about this for an idea? One thing that, and this is for the future. One thing we might wanna play with in the trainer is playing post flop as the 3-better with 3-bet bluffs
Yeah,
and see how the trainer plays.
yeah.
'Cause
What
that's-
do you do after you bluff this?
Yeah, so what does the GTO wizard, what does the solver do
Yeah,
when you 3-bet bluff these marginal hands and actually get called?
right. That will be tomorrow.
We can do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll set that up in the trainer. We can do that
Yeah,
for part of tomorrow.
absolutely. Okay, but he chooses the sliver of it that we expect to see most often from our opponents is a call here rather than a raise. And there's the bet, and this is, he can, in position, he doesn't have to raise
Oh.
here. He can just call and keep it in. He doesn't know where he is. There's the check. This seems like a good bet with the heart coming in for the continues. There's a little bit more that you can get paid by, and you wouldn't mind charging it, I think. But if you checked it behind, because it's only a 7, isn't terrible, and you've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coming, so that's good. He checks behind. Don't think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
And on that 10, no bluff, now he has to bet for thin value, and it's gonna be thin, so I think half pot here. There is a bet of only $3 here, which Matt Affleck does not approve of, but other coaches do. Where Matt Affleck's rule here is that this bet can't be smaller than $5. You have to bet at least half the pot anytime you reopen the action, because you have to make at least that much money.
Yeah, Gripson will use the small size here.
Not everybody does. Not everybody follows that, and the solver doesn't do that either.
I like the larger sizing.
Yeah.
Plus, I think blind versus blind, the way it went, you might be able to go as much as like 8 here.
In theory, he should call pretty wide.
And what are we getting? And what are you targeting for a call here? Or do you not want to even think about that? And you just say, I want to go this big with my value because I want to go this big with my bluffs.
Well, he raised pre. I mean, he could have something like pocket nines. Pocket sevens might call.
Jackson queens are not going to fold. A river.
I mean, blind versus blind, like maybe even ace 5 is supposed to call.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we saw he had absolutely nothing, so.
Yeah. Fold, 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 raise, fold, fold. Nope. Yes, raise, but it's a raise to 2, which might keep the king 3 in. It does. Congratulations on keeping a hand in that you don't really want to be against. Check, bet, fold, I would think. Yeah. Fold, 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 fold. Fold, fold, raise, fold, fold, fold. Ace 9 in the low jack is too wide, but it's only too wide by a pip. So a player this bad, I wouldn't be surprised to see him raise, leading to the ace 8 suited not folding on the button. Ace 8 suited can't be a fold there.
What is the worst offsuit ace in the cutoff that we open and the
I-
ace suited?
I
This is
think
what-
ace 9 might be in there in GTO.
For here in the low jack or in the button? The low jack? No, low jack,
No,
not my low.
No, it's not.
My-
It's pip wide.
Ace 9 is coming in for me in the hijack, and it's coming in at 50%. So I'm doing 50% in the hijack here and 0% here.
Yeah, it's ace 10 on the charts.
Here as we go. Under the gun. Ace 9, 0, hijack. Come on, 50%. 50% ace 9.
Yep.
Close enough. Put it on strategy. No. Cancel. Strategy. Thank you. Ace 9. 57%. I was close. Oh, and these are GTO opens. We don't want GTO opens. Change. We want 2.5 opens.
I don't think that changes the hands much, though.
Doesn't. I just doing it. It might change the frequency somewhere here or there. Okay, here we go. So I fold it. So for some reason, I must think either I don't know my ranges or because I was joking when I said I was going to open it. So once again, my jokes are true. Ace 8 suited should not fold here, and I don't think it should be raising this much.
I think this is a good 3-bet bluff.
Is it? Let's see. Raise. Button.
You can get better.
Oh, yeah, I'm so wrong.
Yeah, you get better hands to fold.
Yeah, I was picturing the tournament range where every suited ace calls, and then you have some raises.
Go to those Louis sessions is gonna mix your brain up.
That really screw me up. Yeah. All right, but anyway, he just calls, thank you, which is GTO approved, GTO sliver, and the thing that we expect from our opponents. Second thing we saw, where in a choice between raising and calling and folding, they call. Here we go. And then the folds. I get out flopped. And is there any reason I think I can continue this hand against him here? I shouldn't, not this board. This board is not good for me. So I check, he bets, I should fold. I call because I have a dangler to the 8 or some stupid thing like this. I mean, it's a big bet. I don't think I need to be calling.
Yeah,
it.
you've been doing too much with Louis.
I really have. This is bad. Yeah, this should be a fold, I would think. I have 2 overs. and a backdoor straight and no backdoor flush, that's not enough for a half pot bet. There should be a fold.
Yeah, maybe you could call 33, but fold half pot.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. And good thing now I'll definitely fold, so. More bad play from me. Ace three fold, king jack raise, ace king re-raise, everybody else folds. And then the king jack should fold to that re-raise. There's the raise, there's the call.
Is this 922? Villain? Yeah, it is villain 92.
Yep, this is villain 92. And now with this, the ace nine could consider a squeeze. He should think about it. I don't think it's a good, I think maybe squeezing at ace 10 is probably better than ace nine. That's gonna be my guess. But he shouldn't call.
I think you've got a good idea to begin to think about what you're squeezing. You're not gonna find it here, I don't think.
I'm just see what the range is. Oh, no, there is no cutoff for call.
Yeah. But you can find it in poker coaching if you
I'm gonna
want.
do that. That's what I'm gonna do.
But I think I'd want a suited variety more, because it's gonna have more playability after.
Does not GTO Wizard not have limping ranges, or is that only MTT?
It doesn't have a
Yeah,
calling
exactly.
range
Wait,
in
but it doesn't have a
position.
calling
until
range.
button.
Yeah.
Ah,
so
I see. It doesn't, okay, cold call.
So hit stack size.
Stack size, there we go. Stack size 100, thank you.
You're gonna have to use 8 max.
Okay. 8 max is what has it. Great, okay. Stack size 100, here we go. So it's a cutoff raise, it's a hijack raise with a cutoff call. And now here we are on the button. And we have a squeezing range, and it's not ace 10, it's starting at ace jack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess,
Not around too much.
poker coaching disproves my theory, but I'll be honest with you, I think we have to take these ranges with a grain of salt because these are built with no rake.
This one, yeah.
And so I think generally, no flop, no drop, no flop, no rake. I think generally we want to increase our three betting range here, our squeezing range.
But not down to ace 9.
No, I think that's, and it's just, it has very hard playability. And when
Yeah.
you get called, you're dominated.
I don't
No,
think I would 3-bet ace jack off. I would
But
rather.
I would like adding like ace 10 suited, ace 9 suited into the squeeze range here. Especially ace 10 suited.
No, in
bottom-
GTO Wizard ranges, ace jack suited and ace 10 suited are still mostly call.
So we don't want an offsuit ace as far as like what do we want? We want suited Broadway. That's not right.
Well, it was already 3-bet.
It was raise and call.
There's,
Oh,
this isn't a
raising-
call
oh.
for.
It's
Oh,
whether we go
okay.
for a squeeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have these ranges in GTO Wizard. Maybe we do it like NL 500, but not at this rate structure.
But just looking at this,
Well, actually, they're both 150 and villain 9 is over 150, so we can look at 150 ranges. So what do we have? Hijack open, cut
cutoff
off.
call, here we go.
Call.
All right. Back to the wizard. This is with a rake button. Looking similar, you've got some of the, it's a little different with it. But if you look at if you want to look here, what your bluffs are, your bluffs are suited connectors that are not dominated and wheel aces.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I would have thought ace 9 suited gets in the game, but this looks right to me. I mean,
It's
I
got
mean,
some unsuited.
I look at these and I think I do not squeeze them. It's the main thing I come away with. I need
Yeah.
to squeeze more.
Same.
Every time I see these, I realize how much more I need to squeeze.
I squeeze these too much, but at least they're squeezes. I squeeze this 100%. I squeeze this a lot,
Now,
but I
what do
don't
we
squeeze.
not
I don't do this. I just don't.
like if our opponents are playing straightforward. Like, do we want to do less of these kind of squeezes, or like how do you guys perceive
Well,
that?
straightforward in what sense? I mean, that's a pretty broad term. Straightforward
like,
in that they
mm,
have,
more value and less bluffs.
So I think I have an answer for this.
Yeah.
The more straightforward this guy is, the guy in the middle, the more you can squeeze because he's already told you he doesn't want to put more money in the pot. And you only have to get by your first guy.
No, I
Yeah, that's a
think
good
I
point.
haven't, I understand what his answer is,
Okay.
first question. If you believe that the villain 91 is raising tighter than a hijack range,
Oh,
Yeah.
move him back.
then squeeze, then pretend he's in the low jack. Give him the low
That's a
jack.
good way to look at it.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
because the response you have is versus the range the solver expects the opener to have, and then the range of cards he expects the cutoff to be able to call. So if the villain 91 range is 16 instead of what's it supposed to be from there, like 20-ish?
Yeah, set up king jack is gonna have king queen, you know,
21. Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So if you think he's tighter, just move him back a seat or two in the solver.
And adjust.
And there he is with 16. Okay. So with this, with the no squeeze there, and now in the big blind, closing the action with a suited hand that flops badly out of position, this is a fold. But I do that. Let's see how bad that is. Not good, but now we're at the 150. So this was raise, call, big blind. Save me, solver. Could not be saved. Could not be saved. All right.
No,
I know. And even worse, I flopped something. Luckily I
Just-
flopped. Yeah, this is,
just remember that when there's more than, when you're not heads up, your range gets much tighter.
yep. And this should not be there. And it isn't anymore. Let's see how I can misplay this pair. This 10 jack should be opening 100% of the time in the cutoff. And my 5-5 here, should be doing a lot of folding. But when I play it, I should 3-bet it. There's the raise, and there's the fold. And there's the defend of 7-8, which is too wide.
Yeah.
It's the hijack by a lot, I think. Hijack
There
raise.
This is-
might be a sliver.
Let's see how much money this guy's got. Yeah, they're back to 100. We're gonna go back to 100.
I think this is a pretty common non-adjustment that 20 players make is that
Yeah.
they deflat these.
There's your flats is get way the way. There's your crazy flat is get way out of the way.
Yeah, 6-5 and 5-4.
Yeah.
I know with some of the offsuited connectors, there are slivers
There is.
somewhere down the line.
I think this is a heavy. I think this is a range bet even.
Yeah, I would go.
Small from cutoff.
You think small from cutoff? I thought big from cutoff.
I think the paired board drives it down.
All right, but he doesn't play that way. And now, is the big blind going to take advantage of this ever? Nope, that's the end of that.
You know what? Like maybe I'm too aggressive in the big blind, but you know, I imagine our calls are going to be more of equity kind of hands that are connected, not like offsuit here. Like I know they have more aces, they have more kings. Can we ever check raise a board like this, like that's paired because less chance of them having the ace, or maybe not because the king is on the board?
You
I think
can
you'd
check
want to. I
this
think you'd want
hand.
some backdoor equity.
Yeah, but I don't see the bluff that you want to do this with.
Yeah.
We can. Do you want to look at it? We can look at it real quick and see where your
Yeah.
XRs come if you have any on this board.
I mean,
You probably don't, right?
I don't
I'm
know.
thinking that we don't have many raises because we completely lack a nut advantage on this board.
Don't
I
have
believe.
anything. We can't have
Yeah.
quads. We don't have any full houses. He can have everything.
Yeah, but like sometimes I see myself making plays in game that I'm probably not supposed to do, but it works.
Oh,
You know
of
what I
course,
mean?
because sometimes, but that's always true in poker. Sometimes you outplay them by accident, and sometimes they just happen to be at the bottom of their range, but not often enough that if you make that play 100 times, are you going to get your money back on it. So
Right.
it's that weird skew, which is you can go all in at any time in a game and it can work a lot.
Right.
know,
Just don't get carried away. I
Yeah,
guess is the
that's the
point.
thing just because it works doesn't mean it was the right play. And I don't mean that in a theory sense. I mean that even in your game against your opponents who aren't playing GTO, you just got lucky that they were at their bluff time, or that you got lucky that they got disconnected if you were playing online. Or a
To,
cat.
to, to answer your question real quick,
Yeah.
this is a high bet frequency, small size board, and big blinds check raises are primarily composed of ace X.
Right.
But he has very few. He only has like
Yeah,
6%.
There's very few check raises here, and so the bluffs it's just hard to think of a hand that you really want to bluff into him. If you've got enough equity to do it, you don't want to get knocked off
Yeah,
it.
it's maybe too hard of a question to answer like in one sentence. I think it has to do a combination of the board and the bet sizing and stuff.
Sure, sure. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
And I think what Saul was said,
Mhm.
for a small bet, I think small pocket pairs should just call the flop.
They actually are checking at a high frequency. Not a high frequency, but they do have, they're check raising 10% of the time. The no equity, essentially 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see small pairs as bluffs. I see them as made hands, I guess, especially on paired boards.
Well, the problem is that we just don't have. Joey's right. We don't have a nut advantage.
Yeah.
We have. Yeah, we just have. They have more trips than we do.
Easy hand, fold raise, fold around. Up. That Jack 10 is too early, but not
We know.
but it comes in a little bit in the hijack. We've got a little bit of Jack 10. So it's not egregiously terrible, but it's one space too early, and it's not even full frequency in the hijack.
Look who it's coming from.
Villain
He's-
92.
That guy's only got a PFR of 8.
And so he does that. Yeah.
It's kind of like he's like, oh, I feel like I want to raise this hand.
Yeah.
What's
we
his we can't quite see his VPIP number. Is that me? No, I think
38. It's 38. Let me move it over. Oh, come on.
it'll
Adjust.
come. I think
Oh,
it'll
no.
move on its own eventually. There you go.
It went.
There we
oh,
go.
There we go. And went back. Let me just unlock the layout and just drag it myself. There we go. Come on, baby.
So
Drag.
essentially, these stats could be considered as kind of like table image, right? In a way.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a little bit of that.
I mean,
going-
so one thing Affleck also says is that you don't need that many hands to understand someone's VPIP.
No,
And this is a good example. I mean,
Yeah.
one thing I've gained from these sessions is that I do trust my VPIP number on players more at a lower count than I used to.
Mhm.
Kind of Affleck's theory has been proven in our sessions.
And I think the other thing
well,
is
it's
really true. Oh, go on, Joey.
it's basically just the rule standard deviation. It's like
Let's
after
get- let's-
20
let's-
hands.
Let's
after
stat
20
it up.
hands-
I always like little statistics. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
20 hands VPIP. Say they have a VPIP of 50 or more in 20 hands.
Yeah.
I think
Standard deviation tells us,
deviation
yeah.
for that is, so they played 10 hands. The standard deviation might be 4 for 20. So that means even if they're not 50, they're still 30.
Yeah, good way to
Still-
good way
still
to play
higher.
it. Good way to play
Yeah.
it.
And there's Bayes' theorem, which I never really kind of figured out myself. But I know from Chan's poker mathematics book, which was really deep and complex. You needed a degree in calculus to understand that book. There's something with Bayes' theorem. With each hand, it solidifies the percentage that they're true more and more.
You guys know that that my job is I'm a professional juggler. That's my actual job. And so it shouldn't surprise you that I have a degree in mathematics.
Do you really?
I really do, yeah.
Oh, do you know,
Bayes
Bayes theorem?
theorem? Yeah. Bayes theorem is a way to look at, you say, what it comes from this thought in English, I think is the best way to explain it, which is if my hypothesis is true, how surprised would I be based on the results that I've seen so far in my incomplete data set? So it gives you this idea of saying that you start with a prior, which is an assumption about what someone's doing. So in this case, how they play. And you can get a level of confidence from an incomplete set, and it'll tell you numerically how good that is, saying that it is this likely that your hypothesis is right or wrong given this. And so the idea of you can never prove that there are no black swans if you've never seen a black swan. But if you say, I think there are 10% black swans, and you've seen 100 swans and none of them are black, it tells you how likely you are to be right, that there really are black swans. That's going to be my badly explained Bayes theorem in English from mathematics that I studied when I was 20.
Yeah, well, I understand that part.
Yeah.
What I don't know is how to put the formula together to see after how many hands do we have on him?
14.
To see, I don't know how to put the formula together to see how reliable his 38 VPIP is after only 14 hands.
Neither do I, because I don't know the prior we would start with. Because with Bayes theorem, you have to say at the beginning what I think his VPIP is this.
Oh.
Like this is the average VPIP of a person and how he deviates. But what I will
Well,
say,
I think we could start with the average of what we think.
Yeah.
Like you have plenty of hands on
Mhm.
many different players at this
Yeah.
stakes. I think if we can
You can
figure
start with
that
that.
out, start with that average.
maybe I'll do that off site and come back with that for you, and then we'll walk through it rather than
Yeah.
figure it out together.
Wait,
But I will
wait,
say
wait.
one thing on it though, which is this from poker, not from Bayes theorem, which is the higher the V and the lower the P, the more you can trust that V. Because if someone is getting a series of if someone has a very low VPIP, they could be a tight player or they could have been getting crap hands. They have a very high PFR, with a comparable V to go with it. They could have gotten a bunch of good hands in 14 hands. But there just don't exist this many hands that you should be limping and not raising. This many
Yeah.
calls.
That's
That's
a good way to
much
put it.
harder to get if
Well-
you are playing correctly.
So
You just haven't been on the button often enough. You haven't been in the big blind often enough to get this number.
Well, in 14 hands, that means he's played 5 hands.
but you're
So,
saying that yeah,
like me.
um,
Like me, my V38, but the P of 25 tells you that we know I'm aggressive, but it doesn't tell you as much as a 38-8 is my.
I mean, I think after 14 hands, I gotta imagine that once in a while my PFR might look like that.
like this 38-8.
Yeah, it just depends how it comes out.
Okay.
I mean,
but-
I would, I'm not saying that it's 0% that you're right, but I'm also trying to say on the other end, it's not 100%.
No, just more confident. I'm just more confident in my judgment of my looseness of this player than this player. This player being me.
I just want to say one thing before we move on. Now that we're talking about this, this is pretty interesting to me. I would like for us to dedicate some time, not entirely on next study groups, on like HUD stats and ways to exploit players and stuff like that, etc.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
We definitely want. And there's also
Yeah.
on Tuesday somebody will find there is a poker coaches led video on HUD stats and how to exploit HUD stats. And one of us will look it up and we'll put that out tomorrow. I'm
yeah. I
not-
think it's
I'll be on a plane.
Sassionato has a very good
yeah,
Yeah,
Fitzgerald.
HUD stat. Alexander Fitzgerald has a very good
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I
understanding
don't
HUD stats
necessar-
videos.
I don't necessarily like his style though.
He's not for everyone, but he does have, I mean, he's very HUD-based in his decisions. But he does explain what they're for, how they work, and what they
Yeah,
indicate about a player.
After him raising a jack ten, which is too loose, I do think the ace jack here is not three betting very often. High jack versus low jack. That's probably
I
a
mean,
fold.
if we're just looking at HUD stats and I had the ace jack, I'd definitely be folding versus PFR of 8.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. And now everybody else should fold. Yep, there we go. 10-10 raise, ace queen three bets him, ace 10 folds, and then I get the bad news, which hopefully will be a call. If not, we'll see. There's the
Yeah,
raise.
he shouldn't 4-bet you with 10-10.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. He doesn't. All right. Now I have to hit something. I did. Good news for me. Check. My bet here, I can bet a third. On a three bet C bet strategy where I'm doing with a whole range, I can bet a third, and I bet just under half. So what's that? 40% a pot ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that 40%'s not horrible.
So I would argue his fold is wide without a diamond.
His call is wide.
Sorry, his call is wide. He should be folding here, I
Yep.
think.
Uh,
Well, just one overcard.
I'd-
He needs to lose more
I'd
money.
probably stick around with pocket tens.
Yeah.
If they're betting range, you can't fold an under pair.
You think so? Even if there's a ace, king, jack on the board, a queen in this case.
Yeah, you basically have second pair.
It's just one overcard. It's
It's just one overcard. I'd
Not ace, king,
definitely
queen.
look them up.
Yeah.
I know, but the sizing. I mean, I don't know.
the sizing
I
was
mean,
like
he's gotta have, yeah, I mean, there's
is
a
not
lot
a
of,
bottom-
there's 12
not bottom
combos of ace king off. I mean, you have a good point. You're ahead of ace king and you're unblocking ace king. But I think in theory, you need to fold this at a high frequency without
looking-
the redraw.
we're gonna look. Let's put this one in
Okay, we can,
to
we
see
can
how.
run, let's run through it and then I'll
Yeah.
put it in.
Great. And I mean, certainly I can make this bet with ace king, with the ace or king of diamonds. I can bet $8 into 1950, no problem. So he's got a lot he can do.
I
Now,
mean, you're probably gonna have some things like Jack 9 or King 9 of diamonds in range too.
yeah, I can have
That you're
diamonds.
gonna be making that bet with.
And I could even do it with clubs. King 9 of clubs.
Yeah,
Clubs, I could do that. But now that he has called me, I'm feeling very good about my ace queen, and I don't need to bet very big. And I'm not worried about diamonds because I have the ace of diamonds, which is most of his diamond combinations had an ace of diamonds. So while he's probably not on a diamond draw, which I crush until it beats me, I'm ahead of every queen. I don't think he has kings. And I can get value from king, queen, and jack, jack. So I should be betting here. And I'm not at all concerned with the 4, even though he
Yeah.
does have this 4 in range. I'm not
Four is
concerned.
kind of a good card if he was sticky and
Yeah.
if he was wide and had fours.
So that 20 is meant as a milking bet that I'm not afraid to get all in on that. I'm not afraid for the next one to be pot, and I'm setting myself up for pot. And he knows it. There we go. All right.
I'm not.
You don't want to bet
We
pot
should
on the
look
river?
at this. We should look
All
at this. I kind of feel that Bill in 93 played that hand pretty well.
Yeah. We'll see.
Because
You-
I would have
you
called
got
the
ready?
flop and then start considering folding when you double barrel.
Yeah, Joey, I see your point. I mean, I see your point why you stick around with second pair.
Yep.
I think part of my argument is that he might, a lot of people in position three betting there are going to lack a wide enough three betting range for it to be profitable, but I get your point,
What
that we're
was
gonna
your,
stick around.
Scotty, what was
Let
your
me see, so this was UTG versus cutoff, right?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll set this up.
Good. UTG versus cutoff. We'll go on to the next hand. Fold, 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 raise, fold, and the king 7 should fold here, I think, against the button, not against the small blind. And let's see what he does. Oh my gosh. The guy chooses not to play his ace 4, and ace 4 is not optional on the button. Ace 3 is, but ace 4 is just solid. Just raise ace 4 on the button.
Alright, ready when you are.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, here's our starting ranges. So I guess my argument a little bit is that a lot of these hands here are not gonna be present in population. But I totally get how we're gonna call here. So we check.
Go to make one change here. If it's not
Okay.
too late, change
No,
the
it's-
opening, go from GTO opening sizes to, 2.5 opening sizes.
all right.
Because he did 3. It was 3.9.
How big was your three bet?
I went to 9, I think. I'll check for you
Let's
right
make a
now.
GTO. I think that's probably right.
Yeah, 3 and 9, so it's gonna be 2.5 and 7.5 is gonna be the
Let me
closest.
see, 100
thing we can-
general. Okay.
Yep.
I'm glad we didn't have to put it back in. Okay, so. ETG 2.5. 7.5. Tens call pure, I think. Mixes.
Hey.
Marginal hand.
Okay, yeah,
Sure check. And then what are we gonna, let's see who's winning the range battle here. Yeah, so so imposition's winning the equity battle pretty heavily, which is gonna drive us to bet at a large frequency. And you did a B30, right?
I did a B30 of my pot, a B40 of my pot, but this pot's smaller, so make it B, so let's go to the 50.
Okay, see if you see how often you had the ace queen off with the ace of club, or ace of diamonds, right?
Which I did. So I'm all
Okay,
over.
yeah,
B50.
so you're in.
I did B40, so
33 is closer to 40 than 50.
it is, but I meant the amount of money that I put in because my
Oh,
original size was smaller. That's why I chose 50, is now the pot.
because that's gonna affect the tens.
It does, but
When
here
you
you
go
see they
over
still
half
count.
pot,
Now he needs a diamond. All right, make it 33. See if he still needs a diamond.
Yeah, I think we're kind of we're kind of in
Nope,
the
need
same
the diamond.
headspace.
oh,
So
you
mostly
do need a
folding?
diamond.
You need a
Mhm.
diamond. And even with
Wow.
a diamond, you're not happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Because
wouldn't
you're-
have,
Well, it's also because you're also out of position and you don't want to face multiple barrels.
Yep. And one of your set outs is dirty. You can hit it, you can hit a set and now be coolered by the flush. And when you have the diamond and you're behind and it goes runner diamonds, sometimes your 10 of diamonds is good. But it's more that you can't be coolered by your own set.
I think also when we look
Okay.
at 3-betting tomorrow.
Yeah.
We should look at not just being the 3-better and continuing, but
How to defend.
because I would have classified this as marginal made.
Hmm.
So maybe I need to start looking at maybe my range construction after a 3-bet is a bit wide.
And also remember, the positions matter a lot. This is a 3-bet versus the low jack. So it's
Yeah, that's a good point.
this isn't the button 3-betting the cutoff.
Right.
And this isn't the big blind 3-betting the small blind. I can list other positions that it's not also if you'd like.
He's got a lot of raises here. That's interesting. His raises are coming from. Oh, is ace queen? This is imposition. Yeah. That cutoff. Yeah. His check raises rather are coming from ace queen. He's got a lot of check raises here.
Yeah.
Ace king is getting in there, blocking the continues.
5-5,
Yeah,
just to spite you.
Yeah, 5-5, and then he's got his sets. So we always see this, right? Your 3-bet, fast play your sets all the time,
Yep.
unless you're blocking continues.
Yeah, except for top set.
And we'll hand it back real quick, but this is, I think, the most interesting is that his no-made hands are his trash is check raising at a high frequency here. I would find the ace-7, but these are the ones that are interesting.
Diamonds. You got to get down, those trashes are real flush draws and the others are backdoor flush draws.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something going on there. Backdoor flush draws with backdoor straight with two cards bigger than the six. Although in a 3-bet pot, I don't know why 2-bet cards bigger than the six matters. Because when am I ever?
So we are raising a lot more with our draws here than we are actually calling, which is interesting.
Alexa, set a 20-minute timer.
So, all right, just hand it back to you,
Yep, I got it.
unless you, okay.
Got it. There we go. Okay. We're on to fold, fold, raise, and take it with the jacks. We are on to fold, 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 queen deuce suited on the button. Yes, raise that. Raise the queen deuce suited on the button.
Yeah, you could
People-
raise, right,
some people do that.
yeah, all suited aces, suited kings, suited queens,
Yeah,
jacks until
jack five and jack,
until five. Yeah,
yeah,
jack
5
five,
and 4,
suited five.
depending on the button. The jack 4 is. Here we go. Oh, let's get the fold. Let's get a fold here.
Okay.
Here we go. The jack
Yeah.
4 is. But there were charts where this was queen 3, jack 5. So the
Huh.
fact that someone doesn't take the queen 2 could also just be, if they're studied, I studied a different thing.
Yeah, so we could like take off the jack four, put it in the queen deuce, and we'll be good.
Oh, you could do that too, but I wouldn't do that. The queen deuce is just pure for me. You'll
Okay.
you'll collect this or something in there.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that there were charts, there were, I mean, we'll just quickly just look at what poker coaching has as its button chart here. How do we get back to GTO pre-flop charts there? I'm just gonna go backwards this way. Will that get me there? No, that's not gonna get me there. Oh, here we
What are
go.
you what are you trying to do?
Just get back to the regular GTO pre-flop chart. Stack size, here it is, not the multi-one. Okay, there we go. So there it is, stack size 100 on the button, just looking here. There's our button chart. So this one,
Yeah.
this one doesn't have the queen deuce. So here it is. Here's a GTO, a modern GTO chart that goes queen 3, jack 5. That has 3 big blind raises instead of 2.5 big blind raises, and has this is in the 6 max with a rake. With the 6 max with the rake, the jack 4 and the queen 2s come in. So there you go for some dings. He chooses not to do the queen deuce. I would do it,
Awesome.
but it's
Well,
edge
I
casing.
also have another question.
Yeah.
Since we want to start discussing exploits.
Mhm.
If the blinds are, let's see. In this hand, we have 20% 3-bet and a 0% 3-better.
We have a
If
40%
your
three-
3-bet stats are
40%
low.
3-bet, not 20.
Yeah,
He
but
is
it's only
only 5
40.
opportunities, but it's
Yeah.
still there.
like
This guy-
if your,
This guy had 9 chances and took 0 of them.
yeah, if your 3-bet stats were like that, the other players, the small blinds.
Yeah.
You could add a pip everywhere to the button's range.
Look at this small blind. The small blind, against the small blind, he could be raising any 2 cards. This guy's got 18 hands and hasn't played one. None of
Yeah,
us, know-
that might be a good reason to start expanding your range too.
yeah,
Because
that,
then you only have to worry about one player.
right.
So you could probably expand your whole button range here by 1 pip in every node.
And for me, as I look behind at the calling range, the green is the calling range, is the calling frequency, by the way. 1 in 5, 1 in 7, 20 and 14, doesn't say which are blinds.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, the green is calling frequency.
Oh, I thought because mine usually goes VPIP, PFR, and then 3-bet.
Right, mine is, this is the V, this is the P, this is the call, and this is the 3-bet. 3-bet is 40. You said my 3-bet.
Oh, okay.
I was telling you, that's why I think that this guy can fold a queen deuce against a big blind even though it's a limited number of hands. Folding to a big blind who's got a 40% 3-bet. Not a bad,
Right.
not a terrible idea.
'Cause
Yeah,
he
but
may be
He's
aggressive.
getting through this small
after
blind
12,
free.
after 12 hands, I don't take much, I don't put much like value in a 3-bet number after
Fair
only
enough.
12 hands.
Fair
So
enough.
when do you start
This we
taking?
do.
So we
How
were talking
how many hands do you want to have for that? What 3-bet matters?
40, 30?
Well, you gotta realize that
They have to have an opportunity.
they only get opportunities maybe 10% of the time.
Yeah.
So
I think that's low, but go on. But they
or
only got
20, let's
some.
say 20% of the time they might get an opportunity.
Yeah.
So like after 50 hands, they might have had what,
10 opportunities.
10 opportunities.
And now you might look at a number. Yeah, you want them to have 10 or 20 opportunities before you read anything into the number. But again,
Okay.
looking at the HUD stats, we're at 18 hands. We can say something about villain 88 after 18 hands.
Yeah. What with low numbers, you can only start putting stock into the most extreme left
Yeah.
sides of the.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. So you want like 50 or like 100 even better to make some kind of judgment.
Right. But let's talk about how wrong we are. Villain 88, who is at 0-0, I don't remember when we went through these saying, oh my God, he needed to open that. Oh my God, he needed to call that very often. So he's gotten just shitty cards. That's my memory. I don't remember saying a lot of, oh gosh, this guy needed to play that hand too much.
Yeah.
They weren't egregious. I do remember one, but that's fine. Okay. All right. Here we go. Raise, fold, 3-bet on the 3-bet and call on the button, fold, fold. Raise, fold, 3-bet. There's his 3-bet, fold, fold, and the king jack should fold. But he doesn't. Let's see if let's see if I'm right about that king jack fold. I could be wrong. Okay. So back
No,
to
offsuit. should-
2.5.
Yeah, he should probably be folding.
I think it's fold. Yeah. So here he is with his king jack, easy raise. Here's the button with his ace jack. I was wrong. There are no calls, but there's his 3-bet. Good for him. And comes back here on his king jack. And this is a massive fold. Everything in this area folds. King queen folds most of the time. Never folds suited. All right.
For the most part, if you're playing with an offsuit Broadway, unless it's like button versus small blind or button versus big blind,
Mhm.
unless it's ace king or ace queen, almost every other offsuit Broadway is going to want to fold.
Yep. And sometimes ace queen folds in the more extreme. Like
Yeah.
I would say
Early
low
versus
jack-
early.
Yeah, low jack versus high jack. I'm gonna think that ace queen's gonna fold. Mostly, yeah. Okay, here we go. He does it, and it's the worst thing for him. He is dominated. And we get to a hand that will cause him to continue. Right, checks. Ace jack can bet here. He does, and he bets half pot. He's not messing around. Is he gonna get check raised or check called? I don't think he's getting a fold. Check call. Now when the ace jack backs off, which I expect him to do, he doesn't, but he bets really small. Here we go.
This is an error.
The call here as opposed to the re-raise, which is the error, the small bet or the,
Small bet, small size.
Well,
And
yeah,
also the question to ask you guys is, you're holding this combo, and you see this sizing. I feel, and your blocking continues, or that both have Ds. I really feel like this is a good place for a check raise.
8.
the check raise is gonna be all in, right?
Kind of, my thinking is that
Maybe.
when they're pretty much giving you direct odds to call with a small bet, just take those odds and call.
That's fair enough.
Here I think it's just a little short, but it's close enough.
Yeah.
I think he needs like 16-17% and then he's getting 19%.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going off what I think is a common sizing tell here.
Yeah, just get all over that.
If we had something that was like only 10%, say we have more like a gut shot,
You think we have enough equity to call?
we're
him
not
out?
calling.
Right.
This
I
would
agree.
be, this would be a good sign for a clear bluff hand. But I think when they price you in with a draw, with such a small bet, I like to just call it.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah,
valid point.
I agree with both of you. The sizing is small and it makes you want to raise, but after looking at his stack size, I mean, there's really no point to because he's not gonna fold anything that
No, I'm sorry, Skate. You're gonna have to pick sides.
He's gonna fold now. Come
I'm
on,
just
King
kidding.
Jack. Come on, King Jack. He's gonna fold now. But you gotta make the move. You don't have showdown value. You think you do, you don't.
crashed.
He's
Oh.
decided. We've decided we're behind. The ace jack has decided it's behind. And feels so good. And that's that guy. It's our guy. There he is. There's his one hand. He comes in for one. Raise, fold, 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 call. King four suited. You wanna,
But I think population ace two suited might call.
he's probably gonna. He doesn't, and this guy doesn't
Oh,
defend
wow.
his king four suited either. That's the guy who defended the 5-9 suited. So. We're not
Yeah,
getting.
sometimes it
stability.
looks like he's just doing things random.
Yeah.
Like he raised jack 10 off.
In the low jack, yeah. Ace deuce here should be raising, ace jack should not, ace jack should, against the hijack, I guess mostly be three betting, no calls, we just
I
saw
think
with
it's
the,
a mix.
and I think it's a mix of raise and fold, not a mix
I
of.
think you're right.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah,
Not easy.
just like I said before, the offsuit broadways don't like calling.
yeah, we want an ace queen and above. I would assume.
No, we're happy with
No,
ace,
it's gonna raise.
Yeah.
It's not gonna call
right,
because it's offsuit.
Yeah.
If you look at the calling, a lot of the calling is either with pairs or suited hands.
Skate, think about playability, right? It's so much easier to call and continue to play when you have suited combo, because you can call with a backdoor flush. Just gives you, and also, obviously you're drawing to the nuts in position. All these things drive you towards calling more with suited combo.
and how, take a look, and let's say that,
Okay.
let's say you wanted to be a GTO robot. You're not trying to exploit, you want to be a GTO robot, but you can't, but you don't have enough memory to be a GTO robot. You could take this the range we're looking at here, move the ace 10, king 10, and king jack to fill up your ace jack and your ace queen, so you have no calls of ace queen. How far off GTO are you? If you fold ace 10, fold king 10, fold king jack, and always raise ace jack and always raise ace queen, and then do some pure, some pure things here, you're gonna catch up. You're gonna end up with this ratio of 9.6 and 3.1 really easily.
I think that Jonathan Little should hire you to make some exploitable GTO charts.
Oh, he doesn't have to hire me. I'd just be happy to go over there, make some balloon animals for the kids, just be buddies. All right, here we go. So fold, raise, and fold it. There's a fold, there's the raise, 2.3, little small, but I mean, I don't mean small bad, just he's doing,
And look,
Yeah.
he just folded a almost playable hand from the big blind. Now he's gonna play this from the small blind.
yeah, he has a cat walking across his keyboard. Is what he has.
I don't
And
know what to, I don't know how to classify. This is not a lag. I guess it's just a big fish,
Loose passive.
loose passive, yeah.
And the raising of the ace 10 of the jack 10, it's like, okay, he did that.
Where do you have your post flop aggression percentages?
Post flop, this would be C bets. He would C bet 0-0. He didn't have an opportunity to C bet
Well,
because jack 10 got
don't you keep aggression factor or aggression percentage on your HUD?
well, let me just get it for you. Here's the full HUD for this guy. What's the stat you're looking for? It doesn't have,
Oh,
aggression, yeah,
Very,
The
14.
very top, aggression
post flop,
frequency
0.5.
and 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very low. That's a passive player.
Yeah.
And then how much does he get to showdown?
Do we have that? Where are we gonna see that? Is that the next? I should have everything on the HUD should give me all of the stats that are available when I go to this. Pre-flop steals, where's the post-flop? Why do I not
Ye-
see post-flop?
Yeah, you're missing a lot, so that's,
But
You might
I,
have it under, do you have different pop-ups or just this single pop-up?
I think it's only this single pop-up.
There you go.
Oh,
oh,
here we go.
there you go.
You gotta get to,
River,
oh, here we go. That's the one, River. Thank you. He's only had the opportunity one time and he folded. He
Yeah,
folded.
we're talking about HUD stats that I think really need a larger sample size.
yeah.
This doesn't happen. All right. But we got this much info on him. Okay. Go away.
Oh, do you have no caddy?
These are the notes it took for it automatically.
I love Note Caddy. I use that all the time.
Do you have the paid for version or the free version?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I have the paid version.
Yeah, I could see getting that. I have just the free version, but I thought about getting the paid version.
When you're multi-tabling and it takes notes for you. I mean,
Yeah, I hear you. It's very valuable.
Here we go. All right. So
Yeah.
Skate, I don't understand what you're trying to ask.
let's see what the,
No, it's not about poker. Just monitor settings. I just changed my monitor
oh,
settings.
oh, not a clue. All right.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I think Larry's the most.
Yeah.
Tech savvy among us.
Okay, here we go. All right, so this guy is going to be playing 8-9 offsuit out of position. And
Oh,
of
my lord.
of course,
See,
He's going
this
to be-
is why he does it. He gets rewarded with,
so let's see, is he at least going to check raise and not check call? I mean, and
Like
not
donk.
donk. Don't donk. There's his check.
no, I think he might have. Ooh, does 9 high donk against the button?
Small blind donking ranges, that's next level.
Oh, wait, no. I was thinking big blind.
right.
Small blind does have donking ranges if it does have a flatting
Yeah.
range, but I have no clue what they
It-
are.
Cause 9 high shouldn't be in much of a small blind range.
Yeah. You know, well,
Think
small blind
Jack
flatting
high-
ranges should only in theory be around once you get to nosebleed. Small rake situations.
I think Jack high and 10 high might have some leads from the small blind.
He goes for the check and the check behind from the ace jack seems just fine. I mean, I'm not just reading into his, the fact that this guy flopped top too. Ace jack here. Choosing to check behind seems okay. It's like
He's got, so you got draws and he's got. Well, I mean, the value of it is that you've got some draws that can really improve
Yeah.
on turn. And you have marginal showdown.
yeah, so he could bet this and then continue on a spade, continue on a 10, continue on a jack, continue on an ace, and not continue on a lot of cards. But he can also check with his showdown value and get any one of those cards and then bet.
Let's see how our boy goes crazy now.
He bets half pot and we just fold. Just fold the ace jack. It's
What?
not, oh,
Uh-oh.
thank goodness this is not me. So the one thing the 8-9 has to know is he's now shook, he's now beaten by aces and kings and queens and jacks and tens, but he beats ace-9.
Yeah,
So he cannot, he can't re-raise this, which he could have on the flop. He could check raise the flop. He cannot 3-bet this. And
he's
you
playing
just,
to his 8 outs and he does not get there.
right. And this guy's pushing buttons.
I
Does
think
that-
he should have checked.
That is a bad bet.
Yeah, this is a really good spot to continue to get bluffed into.
Yeah,
He might be a little shook because the gut shot got there in a paired board, but
well, the ace
Please.
jack has an easy fold here. I'm just saying that the 8-9 is now beaten by the 10 jack draw.
yeah. And it's a paired board and someone could play 9s and 8s like this.
And his size is not, I mean, if he's going for a block, then he should save money with the block. It's too big to be a block.
Yeah, this guy's our mark on the table.
Yes, it accomplishes this and he feels good about that. But that is not what he wanted to accomplish.
He did not make the maximum money with a very good hand.
No, he did not, but he still has more money than me. All right,
We're playing the long game, Scotty, long game.
let's see. I raise and I should take it, but oh no, the jack nine's not gonna. This jack nine's folding. He's been playing. This is the guy who so far we've seen played the most sensibly at the table.
Which you see in his stats, by the way, he's got a 20-20.
And he folded that queen deuce that we wouldn't have, but for a reasonable reason. Yeah, we haven't seen him do anything weirdly bad, so I don't expect him to. Okay. Sevens should raise, ace queen should 3-bet him. Sevens should then call, but he goes for the jack two after not taking the queen deuce.
Now, this is a obligatory squeeze spot, I think.
Unless the sevens go 3, and then I have a little bit of thought.
Then you have a very tough spot. Now you got a tough spot.
I
I
know what they
think
use
that
to
this
start.
does fall into a code 4,
It is.
and it's like $23, $24.
This is a cold 4 in this specific thing, but because so many other configurations have the ace queen folding here, I might have defaulted at this point. I might not have known,
I agree, this is hard to find, especially in game.
but I found it. Too big. Yep. By jack deuce. You gotta bet, you gotta go a little bit bigger on the 4-bet if you wanna not be flipping against pocket sevens. There's that. Yeah. So what size should that have been? 22, you said?
Yeah, I think it's like 22 to 25, somewhere in
Let's-
there.
Let's see. Just as a reminder, button raises. Small blind with his sevens can fold or 3-bet. He chose to 3-bet. He did not go to 12. He went to 10. That's okay. And there I am with 23. And that's 23 off 12, and he only went to 10, so my 36 was egregiously successful.
I'm surprised he did it with sevens. I think 9 is pure, right? 9's plus.
Here it is.
Or
This is
It's a good 3-bet. It's a
this
good
is the
3-bet.
range.
I mean, you gotta
Oh.
take consideration configuration, right? So button's supposed to have a very wide range. He only has one person act behind him.
Yeah.
It's a fine 3-bet.
But your memory there, pure with nines, 9s and 8, right in that thing. The sevens don't have to do it.
And
Wanted
if
to
you
simplify
remember,
this-
the only other hand this guy has played has been a 3-bet before.
So he's probably has no calling range in the small blind, and that's just fine with the sevens choosing to do that. And then I because I respected his stats, decided to make my 4-bet way too big. Because that's the right way to play against tight players. Worked this time. All right. Fold to him, not to me. All right.
Wait,
Raise
go back.
and get re-raised. You wanna go back?
Oh, he's brand new to the table. His first hand. Okay, never mind.
The big blind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to say King 5 is one of those hands I would raise against some big blinds and not all.
Right, well, we don't know this guy yet. And it is, for me, it is 2 off the range. I'm doing king 8 pure and king 7 when I'm in the mood. And so king 5, I really gotta be in the mood. You gotta have Benny Goodman playing in the background.
One question for the group while I'm thinking of it.
Yes.
Has anybody tried the Bazillion
Nope,
triple barrel
nope. Small
bluff that
shove.
we talked about last week?
nope. I have not.
So if we're playing tonight, maybe if you have an opportunity to try it, I'm gonna try it.
All right,
And then we can bring the results to the study session tomorrow.
sounds good. I will look for an opportunity to do it this week. I'll
Okay.
put a note. Let me put in a little note.
Get a Brazilian wax.
Play the Brazilian.
A
Yeah, I'm not playing poker tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Monday nights are my World of Warcraft night.
Ah,
Alright.
you waste time on that? Here we go.
I love that game. I'm addicted to it.
Ace four should raise pure in the cutoff. Ace four should raise pure in the low jack. Ace four should just raise. It's ace four suited and get 3-bet by the ace king. And they're
Good
probably,
for the bluffing hand.
here we go. There's
Yeah.
there's the way too small,
small.
way too small. What are we looking for here? 11, 12, 13? 13, I think.
12,
11, something like that.
11 or 12.
At least 10 minimum.
10.
Yeah, 10 well, yeah, 10 minimum, 10 from the old theory, and now the new one is 12 and 13 there, so 12. But, so the ace four now against that, I don't think he has any reason to 4-bet bluff it. I think he's now getting good enough odds to just call it. Just
This
to have-
becomes interesting. Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah,
Oh.
we've talked about this before, guys, but I'm always curious what goes into this sizing. I mean, it's either somebody doesn't know how to play poker, or is learning to play poker, I should say, or it's someone who really doesn't want to generate a fold. No, not, I think those in the poker, it's in the poker coaching. chart,
Yeah.
I think.
This guy should want, he should want to generate folds with ace king. Ace king doesn't want to go post flop out of position. I mean, you have to a lot and you know, you're willing to, but the joy of ace king is raising it and getting folds.
Agreed.
Yeah.
well,
Eh,
but like one concern I have, especially since this guy's new and you haven't seen any of his other bet sizes,
Mhm.
is reading into his bet sizing.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that just don't know what's anything about sizings.
They see three
Yeah,
bet
agreed.
$6 because somebody raised to 2 and somebody in position who does a 3x went to 6. Then somebody did a different size raise and they were out of position, but they don't know that those things matter and they just went to 6. But he went to 6 and I think that ace four has got to call the 6 and this is and this doesn't matter anymore because this is assuming.
Yeah,
Facts not in evidence. All right. C bet, 3-bet, ace four, backdoor flush, backdoor straight, overcard that isn't,
but he bet too large. It's a fold.
yeah, now
Yeah, we
without
can't call that size.
backdoors aren't enough.
Like if he bet 4, that's different.
Gotcha.
He bet almost 75% pot. That should be a fold.
So for 50% and above, we need direct equity. Is that a good shorthand? And for 33% and below is when we look at all of our backdoors? Or is that am I way off base there, Joey?
I don't think you're off base, but I think that it's a little bit too wide of a heuristic. I mean, it depends
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
on,
Like that's
on
that's
your
part of
stack
it.
depth
That's
and
not
SPR.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
But
question.
is it, I guess what I'm really saying, maybe this, in a hand where if they bet 30, what is the break point for the same hand on the same board texture from the same villain? So we keep all those the same. It's just the bet size is different, you know,
Are you in position or out of
yeah,
position?
for like 25.
I don't know who. I
Okay.
think it changes with the board texture too. I don't
Okay.
think there's like a short and simple heuristic we could say. Always call 33% here. Always fold at 50% here.
Okay, let me
Um,
ask it a different way. The difference between whether he bets 25 and 33 won't change the type of hands that we are calling with, meaning at 25 and 33, you are looking at your backdoors seriously.
Yeah. Well, also it's a
75,
3-bet
you're not.
it's a 3-bet pot as opposed to a
Yeah, that's true.
single raise pot.
This
Okay.
is my take. This is my take. I don't think villain. I mean, at least for me, villain 88 is not calling because of his backdoor. I think he needs extra equity. I think he's calling because it's small blind, and he's probably waiting to see if he's gonna check turn so he could take the pot.
Yeah, he's floating for his bluff on the turn.
Yes.
That's gonna be expensive. But he
Please do
gets
it,
it,
please.
but now he's gotta go for it.
Yes.
Nice, but too small.
That's too small.
Oh.
If you're gonna do it, you gotta go like 20.
Yeah, yeah,
If
good,
he's setting up at 2 street, well,
yeah, good prediction. Nice one, Skate.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good, but too small. The guy can call ace king.
Yeah.
well
Oh.
played.
Oh my.
I think the sizing caused that.
Yeah,
We are getting a game of chicken.
yeah.
I think he
Joey,
saw,
you have a good point. This is reacting to the side. You have a very good point.
yeah, he saw that sizing and just said it's bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And he was right.
But can you go back a second?
Yep.
So I think you got a good point, Joey, but then the reply is we should be putting our sets in this bucket. Right? So
mean,
if people are
raise-
going to check raise this size, saying that it's no equity, our sixes and eights should be in this, and our jacks should be in this.
And here's
in
why they
this size.
shouldn't. Here's why they shouldn't. And I totally get that. When he did this, we were all surprised. So
Yeah.
we're not,
Yeah.
until we start seeing this from a lot of players, the fact that this surprised us meant that we should, that isn't the optimal size for the sixes and the eights. It may start to see this more, but I was surprised. I thought he was getting a call.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, it's a ballsy play here. But
Doesn't,
also
s-
it's a ballsy play because look at he's got an SPR listed 1 now, so he's in kind of a weird spot.
Yep.
Calls.
There we go. But if we start seeing this, or another way to put it is if we start seeing it if you see it from this guy, definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But I think that Joey's got a good point. I mean, there definitely in that case was a sizing tell.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
Right.
probe, not a value bet.
One more thing on HUD stats. I've seen most of the Assassinato series. The farther the discrepancy between the pre-flop raise and DPI pip, the less theoretically sound they are, or something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
oh yeah,
So just
that's the
looking around
first
this,
thing to look for is the gap.
look around this table, 23-19, okay, 32-12, bad, 21-21, perfect, 12-12, perfect, 32-26, probably the best player at the table, 100 and 100. This guy we only have 2 hands on.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, you really want to try to have the PFR and VPIP within 5 of each other. If
Okay.
it's more than 5, it's usually, if you have a large enough sample.
Right.
It's usually an indication that there's leaks in their game.
Okay.
6 or 6, 5 or 6, yeah, if we're just going for it, 5 or 6.
Okay.
Fine, 5, fine. Maybe I'll get it up in a couple of hands.
I
Well, this
think
hand will help
fi-
me. This hand will
I
help
was
me.
being generous with 5. No, you in the old days, we looked for 3 or less.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Between VPIP and PPR.
Yeah.
PFR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna claim these were all big blinds. I didn't call anything else. That's
You
all
only
right.
had- you only had 20 hands too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, now I know. Now I know why you said 6 because that's you.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Mhm.
That's also why I said this was the best player at the table, even though the HUD stats absolutely, neither the HUD stats nor the dollars indicate that, nor the
Yes.
play. But the name, perfect. This 10-9 against the cutoff, that seems too wide, but perfectly fine in a tournament. I don't think 10-9 is there. Cutoff raise,
It
big blind.
might be close.
10-9.
It's 1
Not
pip away.
egregious. Not egregious, but given that Jack 10 isn't pure. Let's see, but it's villain 92. So it's
Yeah.
not fully expected. Finally, some justice in the world.
Let's see how sticky he is.
All right, well, it's gonna go, let's see. Check, I not only am I gonna bet my ace king here, but I can bet range on this flop. This is an easy flop for cutoff to bet range,
Alright,
the big blind.
question.
Yes,
This is a good time to bring out something that I think Skate was asking for.
Oh, the check.
No, about exploits.
Okay.
We have this guy, he's most likely loose passive. The adjustment I make, some people just keep the premium range the same and bet more. I think that's wrong. I think what does more for our range is bet the sizing you would bet. But where would our premium stop here? Like with king 10?
Any king.
Yeah, so
My
Yeah,
king
what's the
five
threshold
suited-
between value betting and with a king? Is your question, is your statement?
usually the premium in the premium grouping, we would put
Good top pairs and better.
yeah, king 10 and better.
Right.
But against these players, we could start betting our better marginal hands as well.
Yes,
So queens, jacks, and tens can value bet versus a villain like this, where
Yeah.
typically they would be a check.
as can my worst suited king here, which is king 4 suited. I have king 4 suited in the cutoff. So I
Yeah.
don't put that in my checking range to protect my checking range with a king.
Yeah, I think your betting range can now expand to anything that will beat second pair.
Yeah.
Ace, anything that beats ace 9 on the flop, I think we could put in our value betting range against a loose passive player.
Yes.
Okay.
And because when they call, and because they will check raise less, but they won't check raise us often as a bluff. And when they have us beat with their king, they will check call many of their kings, and we will check behind on the turn. Because once we've bet pocket tens here, I assume that we, on the turn, on a blank turn, we do not bet pocket tens again.
Right.
Right, because we're not going to go for 3 streets. But we bet that, and we get a call, and the sizing was not increased. That was just a sort of this board size, because I am range betting this board. Well, that doesn't help. That makes it easier for him to fold. But when he has a king, which he has some of his range, he's gonna still size up. Oh, well,
Go back, so
thing.
I don't think this hand, I wonder, I don't think you guys are gonna like this frankly, but I wonder if we can ever check this back when we turn this much equity. Maybe not when the board becomes the flush draw, we can't, but it's a pretty dry board for them. I wonder if like, if there's the ace of hearts, we can exploitatively check this back, trying to induce, especially with someone who's gonna have a very wide range in the big blind, which is then going to be at times compelled to bluff the river with everything that he missed.
I don't see this as a bluff. I don't see this as the guy who bluffs with everything he misses. I
I
don't see
agree, I
that any
agree,
this guy. We just
probably
called
not gonna do that.
passive.
But then you could argue also that he is going to call wider with his marginal
Mhm.
holdings when we use the stop and go strat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like that. I like the stop and go a little bit against someone with the super wide range. I think I'd like it more if this was a rainbow board.
Mhm.
But
My thought is, again, going back to an exploitative line. We are against somebody who has a wider range than he should have. And he doesn't have much range connectivity because we basically almost monopolized the top 2 pairs.
yeah,
So I think with his lack of range connectivity with his entire range that he still has, I think we should be betting closer to half pot here.
Okay,
yeah, so we're on the same, we have the same idea that, I mean, you still want to draw value from anything he has. And I'm just taking it to the next level of exploit, which is, well, let's check back and either induce a bluff on river or extract value from his marginal holdings because
we-
we now have feigned weakness.
This guy has a very, very low aggression number, so I don't want it. You're not going to induce a bluff from him.
Well,
Maybe, but then
no,
also we're gonna get more calls out of a 9x if we choose to check this.
yes.
I again, I agree with both of you. Just because villain,
Now, again, you need to start a poll and tell us who wins at the end.
Pick a side,
Mm.
pick a side, we're at war.
just because a villain doesn't bluff, doesn't mean that they're never going to, right? So I could see. I mean, Mayor for checking.
I mean, so an obvious solver play here is if you have aces and the ace is the turn, it's gonna check at some frequency with the very top of its range. It's not gonna, it's probably not, solver's probably not gonna do it as much, or maybe not at all with this run out. Cause it doesn't have locked up equity, but sometimes with absolute locked up locked up equity, it's going to check at some frequency here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also agree that in the solver, this hand on this board is gonna bet at least 6 or more for the most part.
Yeah, no, well, we should be polarizing, range. I agree.
Right. But I
So-
think against this player who has a wider range than he should, his range should be condensed from the C bet. But this
Yeah.
player's range is not as condensed as it should be, which means he has less range connectivity. So that would make me, as an exploit, bet smaller here.
Yeah, we're going to the same place. I'm just taking it to
Yeah.
the next extreme, which is just.
Yeah.
A check.
Right.
Yeah, I like an exploitative check again. And so I think it's gonna work better. I think that's gonna work more successfully against a VPIP of 32 than it would against a 2020.
And I would
Okay.
prefer, and I would prefer I would definitely prefer it to someone who I have in mind that I've seen, not just bluffs, but I would love to do it against people I've seen do oversized, oversized river bluffs.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Solo's
Yeah.
opinion. Sola, if you're in chat, would you ever exploitatively check back there on turn when you turn that much equity? And-
Not against the fish, no.
Okay, you would continue to extract value with a bet.
Yeah, I mean, he's unlikely to bluff the river, isn't he?
Yeah, I think you have a good point. But we just want to get value now. I can totally see that.
And let me just speak for Sethabs, who's not here. I think I bet 125%.
Yeah, set up to bet 12.
That was a bad accent. That was almost racist, almost racist.
That was the accent of a math major.
I know. I'll do better next time. I'll do better next time. I'll get it fully racist.
You definitely did not study math at Juilliard.
I did not study math at Juilliard. I studied math at UC Berkeley. Go
Oh.
Bears. Ace king raises and the sevens defend by calling.
Is that in California?
UC Berkeley, yes. Yes, UC Berkeley is in California.
Okay.
But no, our new friend, our new best friend in the world. We got 2 of them now. Let's see. It's between 94 and 92. That's who the table
It-
should be about.
Is
I'm
UC
getting
Ber-
money on admission.
Is UC Berkeley one of the state schools?
Yeah.
So do they do free for California residents? in
No,
those?
but super affordable back when I took it. It's now it's affordable for residents, but I mean, college is just so expensive for everybody now. But when I did it, it was 700 a quarter or something like that. Maybe less.
Wow,
It was so cheap.
yeah,
I mean, I paid my way through UC Berkeley doing street shows at, Pier 39. and
I mean,
things.
700 a quarter is almost free
Yeah, it was.
compared to what everybody else is paying.
Yep,
Do they
yep.
have the subway back there? Did you take the subway into San Francisco? And
Bart didn't, I think Bart was just being built back then. Was there Bart when I was in college? I'm looking at my
Bart
watch.
was just, I thought
Because
Bart was,
there.
was older than the Knots.
Bart was there. Bart was there. Okay.
Alright, so yeah, this is gonna get interesting.
This is getting interesting, and the sevens should absolutely call. I don't think they should squeeze. I guess they could. I don't think they could. I would want nines or better, tens or better to squeeze.
I don't think it's squeezing in this situation against.
I think they-
MTG.
I think they fold now,
You
to
do.
be honest.
What?
You can't set mine against two. The joy of set mining against 2 players, closing the action.
Well, we can look at.
We're
if
gonna
we
look
wanna
this
at Sol, let's look at Solver at like NL 500, or we can look at it.
We'll look at the
What-
150. We'll look at the easy 150 here.
Yeah, we're gonna set mine pure here, I think, Joey.
Yeah, let's see.
Our price is so good. We have no one that's gonna squeeze us out behind.
Right. This is, there we go. We go under the gun raise, cutoff call, and let's see, where is that jack, what is it, jack six? Where's the jack six suited? Okay, maybe we'll pretend that it is, wait a minute, we can pretend that it is a jack. Jack 10, okay, we'll pretend it's jack 10 or 5. It's a combination of jack 10 and 5-6. Good. All right, so there's the call. And now big blind. Oh, just
Oh, it does call. Okay.
loves it. And then without it, we all agree. Everybody, we're all calling. Wait, that was a hijack call. It's a cutoff call.
Yeah, we need
That's,
queens.
it's just gonna make it better with a hijack call or
Yeah.
cutoff call.
It's all there. But if the cutoff didn't call, it's still pure in the big blind.
Yeah, our implied odds of hitting a set against
Yeah.
two ranges.
Right. I
Sexy.
mean, look, okay, so look at this strip here. Let's see how the strip changes. We've got all the way from 5, 3, 6, 4, 7, 5, 8, 6, 9, 7, all pure with a little bit of jack 8, and it's starting with a little bit of 3 gappers here. So the 2 gappers are all in, and the raises come primarily from the suiteds right here. Now let's throw in the cutoff and see how that changes it.
Now,
We lose these.
Yeah, the suited connectors and pairs are still all there. Okay.
Right. But the suited gappers are going down.
I know we get a lot tighter
Yeah.
once there's a caller.
Right. There's a bunch of your tightness on the suited branch. There it is. You see the different shape there? Jack 9 barely, 10-8 a little, 9-7 like that. Whereas before we were at Jack 8, 10-7, and then it was getting down to all pure this way. That angle there changed completely. And I think the reason is this area here, while suited and connected, is also dominated.
what's the pattern here? Like the more cold callers in between, the more you want to squeeze, the tighter you want to.
The tighter you play, the
Yeah.
tighter calling range by
Yeah,
a lot.
if he can add in another call,
Yeah.
Yes.
and when it gets to the big blind, look at our range now.
Whoa.
Boom. The pairs are all in there still, but now look at the lack of even suited connectors. And then
Yeah.
riddle me this, Batman.
I think
Okay.
it might have to do with coloring the
This is overspecified. This is not a reasonable thing to do because what the solver is assuming about these 2 calling ranges is not accurate enough to get this result.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
gets the result from the solver ranges, not from the ranges in the wild.
Yep.
That's my claim. But this is still sensible.
What do you guys think of the wheel aces, the suited wheel aces? Are you ever gonna flat these here?
Sure. You can get a wheel
Um,
and you can get a flush.
I mean, yeah, I said, this is a game of implied odds, right?
Right.
So you are speculative hands. I
Yeah.
mean, you're drawing to wheel aces and
Yeah.
flushes, and you're drawing to sets. You're drawing to hands that
Well,
are gonna stack someone.
Never gonna do this. Never gonna do this. Never.
Yeah, that's like almost just like. noise.
I don't see why ace 5 is folding sometimes suited.
Neither do I.
Uh,
But I would just
Okay.
take 8-6, king 5 and shove it all into ace 5 suited.
yeah,
Make this a pure,
yeah.
and I would turn this ace 4 into a pure call and just call right down there and have, basically no bluffs. The ace, your bluff is your ace queen is a bluff in my world.
no, it's down, the small sliver of bluffs are coming from areas that are
King queen?
better off not being bluffed, I think.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna, yeah, I'm just, in this situation, I'm just gonna have no actual, no bluffs.
Can we please? I'm sorry to you.
Go on.
Whenever you're done with this, with just the EV of Queen Jack suited and of the raise of the ISO of Queen Jack suited there on the small blind.
Okay. So
One.
let me go back to what I had here before.
What were you saying?
Raise, a hijack call, and a button call there. And you wanted to see the small blinds? Which,
Where we were before, like the ISO with Queen Jack and King Queen.
who was
Wait.
ISO? Was this guy ISO and king jack and king queen?
The range you had before with the ace five folding sometimes.
Well, that's what you're looking at right now.
Yeah, it was,
Same thing.
was this the range though you're talking about? Nope. Maybe it was this one. It was this with two callers. It was this one. This
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
That's the one.
yeah.
You wanna
Okay,
see
so
the
yeah, so yeah, what's going on
Neg-
there?
negative a little bit.
Okay, so we could.
So this is always, I find interesting. So this, we're raising, but it's negative EV. And I think this is a fact that maybe EV doesn't totally calculate in applied odds.
Yeah, all right, it's the computer that can run every scenario of every combination of cards all the way to the river, every combination of bets all the way to the river. Do you think it's going to miss implied odds if there were any?
Do I think it's gonna miss? Well, first, I don't know if it does that it uses different methods that use extrapolation. As opposed to running out every hand. Often they'll use, I don't remember the term, but they'll use essentially a statistical algorithm trick that doesn't require them to run out every single hand. But regardless, I would imagine it's got to be an anomaly because it is doing this action. It is squeezing at some frequency, yet it's calling that frequency negative EV.
But that's common. No, the solver does choose negative EV things to balance its range in a way. It doesn't only take the positive EV line.
Yeah, but I think that is an artifact of implied odds not being fully calculated,
Okay,
but I could be wrong.
right. But here,
Okay.
this sevens is a great call. And has a sliver of squeezing that I wouldn't find and don't think we need to find. And now he just check folds. This is easy. The sevens are done with their life, and the ace king is going to win the hand, but in a scared way.
So let me ask you guys a question here. So what's your checking frequency here?
As a
If
sevens,
you,
100%.
no, as villain 88.
88, very high.
I think this is a very high check frequency.
Because I'm in the sandwich
Yeah.
very high. Although the the
All
thing
right,
about this board makes me hate checking here.
Let me further the question. In the solver, how much does this check range in the solver being out of position?
That's a
In
really
this
good question
solver,
and I have no
that-
clue.
In this solver, it says no solution for this hand, try another. Because it's three-way. But in a three-way solve, I don't think it's a pure check. I don't think it's a pure check range here, but it's
Why?
frequency. Because being in the sandwich pushes it way down.
Okay,
That's why. That's my only reason.
all right. I've seen a few three-way solves.
Mhm.
Being in the sandwich, there's a lot of check range boards.
Mhm.
The exceptions are ace, king, X boards and king high boards.
Okay,
You get to bet your premium hands and your better draws.
Okay, that's it. Does it change it if it's monotone?
I cannot answer that.
Yeah, that's a good insight there, Joey. I mean, these are obviously some of the most
Like
complex
if
situations.
the
you
five
can
was
have
a
in poker.
diamond, I would say this hand, this hand.
Yeah.
That's 70% of the time.
okay.
So
Being monotone, I don't know how that would affect. I have not seen enough three-way solves to really say, I definitely know it will do this.
yeah, that's a
I
good point.
predict this guy will bet here. And I
And let me
he will bet
let me
$3.
bring up another human. Let me bring up another tendency that I've been seeing in population in my games. I will check here a lot. Obviously, I'm playing 50 NL, 20 NL. So I will see a lot of people trying to steal a pot when I check here. A lot of people are gonna stab when you check as the RFIR out of position multi-way. And I think I have a requirement. I think, or maybe what better way to put it, I think I have an adjustment that I need to make where I am going to call a little bit more broadly. If it's only one, better, right? If two people call, it's a different situation.
Yes.
But yeah, I've seen, and this, I don't have a big setup. I don't have a big sample size. This is on global. I don't have that stats, but yeah, I've seen a lot of low equity or even no equity stabs when you check, especially if you choose to continue to check on turn.
So yeah, that's that second one. They bet that there's almost always a stab on the turn in the second one, usually from me. I predict ace king is going to bet $3. Check. Check. Checks around. Okay.
Now it's going to be who wants
Now
it
it just
most.
gets worse.
Yeah. I predict check, check, check. Yay!
He's not gonna get any money though.
That'll teach you to play fundamentally sound. I think the sevens. I think the sevens might still check here. He does. And it's gonna go check, check, check. Oh, there you go.
I don't think you can fold that sizing.
After the guy bypassed doing it the second time. There.
I mean, I think the mistake, so let's talk about what we see in population. So how often do you think population is going to bet? He's assuming that there's a trap he's setting here. How often is population gonna bet its flush draw? It's flush, it's completed flush multi-way from UTG when it completes on turn.
From UTG or UTG1? I mean, I'm sorry, from you, meaning the sandwich guy, meaning the ace king.
Yes.
How from the
Yeah,
ace
let's
king?
say you had the
100% of the
spades.
time.
Ace of spades.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy is not reading the room here. Right?
Yeah. He's got to get value. He's got to get value from the queen, from lesser spades.
So I don't mind his check on river. On this 4-0 flush board, but
Yeah.
I think he's gotta call this down.
Yeah. He's induced this.
Because he is assuming this guy's got flush traps.
Yeah, I would call it just see the hand. Or
Well, there's that.
yeah, but see like
But-
what he bluffs with, sizing, etc.
Okay. You wouldn't see him
That's an
global,
old
but
thing. That's an old thing.
Yeah. If you want to do that, watch how they do it to somebody else. Let somebody else pay that money.
Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
within your MDF, call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
And your MDF here has to include something other than just a flush. Not much more. But this, there you go. Okay. Also, it's weird.
interesting hand.
It's weird that this guy turned his king into a bluff. I don't know what value, did he think he was value betting it and getting called by less?
Well, he's only have one, I think he has only, I wonder if it's a value bet, because he only has one person left to act and no one's bet. And this guy imposition player would have likely bet his flush
Hmm.
on turn. So he's like, I've got value.
I don't understand that term, but I do, one thing that Joey said before that I think I agree with now is that it's gotta be, is your VPIP, it's gotta be at least within 5. Within 5 is okay. Alright. Ace 4 suited raise. Ace 10 does not 3-bet the ace 4 correctly, and the ace 4 suited takes it. There we go. Or 4. 4 is good too. 4 is good. 10-10 raise and folds. Queen 10, fold here. Let me think for a second, just picture it in my mind. Queen 10 on the button here can be, is 50%. Or is it 50% in the hijack? Sorry,
That's a fold. I think it's queen ten off is a fold and low jack.
yeah, queen ten. I mean, it has a sliver of it. I'm just trying to remember what the size of the sliver is.
10, 7,
It's king
10,
10,
10, 8.
it's ace king,
Like-
ace 10, king 10, queen jack. It's queen jack. Queen
My,
10.
my thing here is jacks and, nines.
Yeah.
Offsuit jack suited nines, so I
Yeah.
play queen jack here.
And I play queen jack here too, and I was just trying to remember. If this was the sliver, I was trying to remember. Let me change this back to 100 here, because that's where it is. There we go. There we go. Okay. King 10 there.
I even think in the next seat, it still folds a bit.
Yeah. 100. General, NL 50. 3-bet size, opening size 2.5. Low jack. That's what I remember. Okay, there we go. It's a little, I remember that I remember this tiny sliver there existed. I was trying to remember what it was.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
more for
learning.
like,
No, I'm not trying to learn
Hard.
it. I just remember seeing it.
yeah, that's more for like card removal.
Yeah.
Effects that the solver might have,
And I'm not,
which is still too much math for a human.
right. I'm not playing it. Anything like that. I remember just picturing, just seeing the range.
Go
and I
one
thought I
seat,
knew some-
go one seat over. I think it's
The
still
left?
folds quite a bit in the, no, the other way.
Oh, the
in
hijack, it's like 50% in the hijack on the queen 10 and like a tiny sliver of the jack 10. It's this. And then the cutoff, they're both mandatory.
Yeah, cut off, they get it full.
And if you lose this queen 10, so what? If you lose this queen 10 and you put it in ace 9, that's fine. If you lose the ace 9 and you put it in queen 10, that's fine. If you say to yourself, I'm going to only play one of these two, and then whenever you see it, you go, that's the one I'm going to play. So you end up playing this 100% and this 100%. Probably not going to screw you either. You just,
Yeah,
Up.
it get,
you get away.
these are against solver, against population, you're most likely going to do a little bit better.
But I don't think this is a good, I don't think you should put this in your low jack range. If you're gonna expand, just make this 100% and this 100%. I don't think you should get to queen 10.
It depends.
There's a table. There exists a table.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I will say that.
Yeah.
In general, fold it, but there's.
Yeah.
Always an exception where you can expand that
Yes.
a little bit.
Okay. So with that in mind, fold to the king jack, who should raise it. But he finds the sliver. And he has not broken the solver. With that king queen, I'm thinking I have to be, I mean, I know I'm doing ace queen. I think
It's got a fold, I think.
I think I'm gonna fold it. Nope. I'll raise it at the time and I timed it right. Now let's see. Oh, I was gonna do this change. Let's go back to the 6 max and see if that goes away. If that little sliver just doesn't exist in the 6 max here. Yep, no, that artifact is still there in 6 max. Great. All right, so raise, and then here we are in the small blind with the king queen. Your choice. Ace queen mandatory, king queen, your choice. I make the choice. Because I have the king of hearts. That worked well. Good. All right. Ace 10 raise. 10-9 should fold, but he won't. I don't think this is a 3-bet there. Queen jack suited should raise and fold 50-50-ish, probably. Just fine.
On the button, I think queen jack might have some calls too.
Yeah, that's what I said. Did I say fold? I meant raise and call. No folds. No folds. I meant to say raise and call. So here is our hijack raising. That's what we should get. The cutoff with his 10-9. Don't do it. Don't do it. But this guy might call. The button here with the queen jack mixes. And if this guy comes in with his 9-10, I think I may push this into a squeeze. Ah, but instead the ace 8 gets in there. Bring the ace ten in for a 3, and now I get out of the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna fold now.
Yep, and ace 8. This is bad. This is worse. And this is villain 92.
Yeah,
So doesn't, it's gonna see the flop. Check. He could certainly bet range here. And he could certainly bet this hand. The 10 blocks the jack. The ace is good. The 10 blocks the jack 10 that he could have, and the ace jack the ace blocks the ace jack that he could have that could play this way. And he has a backdoor flush, all those things. All right, so now on the theory of checking
What?
that Skate brought up of floating the flop to take it away on the turn. That's an in position play, not an out of position play.
Right.
I don't think there's an out of position version of this of floating the flop to wait for a check on the turn to bluff the river. I don't think that exists.
what category are you putting the hand in?
This hand? Junk.
I think it can go into marginal mate. On a paired board, ace high can fall into a marginal mate category.
In a 3-bet pot?
Oh, I forgot. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
He shouldn't even be there.
He shouldn't be, well, this is what it is. He shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be here. And maybe he shouldn't even be here.
You should probably be playing slots.
Exactly. That is what that,
He's gonna have a better win rate.
Scotty,
Yes.
let's look at something on Bill 92, because I've been noticing something.
Yeah.
What's his raise first in percentages across the board?
PFR, 13.
No, raise first in.
Race for sin, 27. 4 out of 15.
Yeah, he's been pretty aggressive. When it folds to him, he's been pretty aggressive.
Yeah, he's,
PFR and raise first in. PFR is pre-flop raise, and raise first in means,
When it folds to you and you're
Right.
first.
so
PFR also includes 3-bets.
PFR includes his 3 bets.
3 bets, 4 bets, whatever.
Okay. So it's just,
Any raise pre-flop.
okay,
But raise first in is your raising percentage when it gets to you folded.
hold it. And he's at 27. Yeah, that's high.
Well, no, he's 27. Oh, total, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's pretty laggy when it gets to him folded,
You see this?
unopened.
My raise first in is 33. Okay,
Yeah, you got a good table.
there we go. Okay.
So, yeah, so this is horrible. And then the question becomes. Alright, and that's even worse. This is
Right.
just like a.
But it's
nightmare.
gonna, but it's going, it may pay off. We'll see. Now he checks. And now the ace 10 can now check behind, I think, as a marginally made ace and be comfortable. I don't think he needs to bet here.
Yeah, I think a check raise here just sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's getting interesting.
Now, right. Oh, and now
Now,
the ace 10 wins.
yeah,
Yeah,
now he's going, let's see how much he loses.
Hang on.
Bill 92 could have chopped.
Right.
Yeah.
He was
So-
chopped.
So this is a very interesting spot. I would not be comfortable raising this on a double paired board, but maybe I'm not reading the action before enough.
Oh, no. You mean the ace 10 now raising? No, that would be suicide. The only question is, does the ace 10 call or fold? I'm yelling. Am I wrong? I would,
No, I think you're right. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm probably influenced by seeing the cards.
yeah, I would never even consider raising here. I would just consider folding and then,
I think you got a call because of the.
not do it against him.
Can we go through the action again?
Yeah. We can't solve this. I mean, we
No,
can,
no.
but just these hands don't exist. This hand doesn't exist. So we go
So,
check raise call. check bet. When that call comes in,
Okay,
ace ten is shook. He gets a
check,
check.
check.
That check still could be a jack. That check could be pocket fours.
Yeah,
and
that,
up to
that could be a jack that,
is waiting.
that
trying-
voted up. Yeah.
Yep.
Wants your hearts to get there.
Right? It could be ace three suited.
Yeah.
And it still considers itself marginally made.
And then what's his sizing on river?
Half pot.
Yeah, you're right. That's, yeah, you never raise it. You're correct.
Yeah,
I
and
would- I
villain
was-
93 is still there with full range. So he has to be within MDF here.
And then, yeah, so would you classify this as an easy call or a hero call?
Hero call.
Typically easy call, but against this player. But I'm still not folding against this player.
I mean, we could run this and see what happens in theory, but it's kind of a,
I mean,
I mean, all he can really have is ace queen. Cause you would expect ace king 4 bets.
yeah, that's a good
no,
point.
but he can have a jack here. He can have a jack and a three. Both those fit his play. Ace three and every jack that he would have.
All right, I want to run this now and see how much of
Okay.
a EV call this is. You go
Right.
ahead and I'll set this up. Is that
Okay.
all right?
No,
You guys, am I the
I
only
don't
one
think
else to
you
see
can do
this?
it-
Are you guys interested in this?
Joey, you don't
Anthony?
see, yeah,
Nah.
you run it,
It's
Or
an
not.
easy call in solver.
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about folding in solver.
Mhm.
You're too high in your
Yeah.
MDF to fold.
I'm with you 100%, but do you believe here, when you put your hand over that ace eight, that villain 92, both as based on the history he's played or also just as a general villain, do you think they have no jacks and no threes here? Or almost no jacks and almost no
Oh,
threes?
no,
Again,
I didn't say that. I
Yeah,
didn't say
yeah.
that.
Right, so that's what I mean is, it's an uncomfortable call, but it's the right call, because they also have other hands.
But
All right,
they
I'm
don't
gonna
have,
you guys on.
they don't have their jacks or threes at full.
They don't have their jacks or threes at full frequency, but they don't have their bluffs at full frequency either, because it's just,
Yeah,
what's the draw that continued here?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
What's he calling?
what's the busted draw?
Well, you are beating, when this maybe you're beating kings and queens to play. Nah, well, that's a hard one, man.
Kings and queens, and I don't think they want to bet. They're turning keys, gonna turn kings into a bluff here?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good point.
Yeah, so. I agree it's a call. I agree it's an MDF call. I agree it's a call against this guy, especially when I see his cards in advance. I'm just calling it I just think it is a hero call. And that villain 93 is a hero.
Here's to us all.
That
All right,
may,
you wanna look at this real quick?
we do. That may have been the stupidest thing I've ever argued with you about, Joey. Now that I heard what I just said, that was pretty stupid. Yeah, let's see it.
That's a pretty low bar you're setting. I mean, what you're saying is that argument is maybe one of the most stupid arguments in the history of all mankind.
It's close. It's close.
All right, let me share this.
I mean, it's in the same equity bucket as how many angels can dance on the head of a pin.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of range we're talking about.
Yeah, okay, let's see this
All
one.
right, so, I think we all have a good point that these ranges are gonna be drastically different in game. I mean, I'm gonna try to adhere to this range as a calling range.
Yeah,
Generally, I think that a high jack 3-betting range is just gonna lack a lot of bluffs.
Yeah.
So,
and our guy is, and our guy's ace five suited is comparable to his ace eight offsuit that he actually played
yeah,
in this, and he's gonna, because it's gonna get there. I think he's gonna call some of his backdoors against the first bet.
the one question I do have is against a wide 3-bet caller.
Mhm.
Are there more jacks in that range? Do they have queen jack suited?
Oh, yeah,
So that changes everything, right? It's all about who has a jack here.
Yeah.
And so, in solver world, we have more jacks because we have a more broad 3-betting range. But in game, so I was watching coach called Value Heavy yesterday. He does a very good solver-based instructional stream on Sunday mornings
Right.
to show you how much of a life I have. And he was talking about how, recreationals are going to have a wider calling range as a general heuristic.
Mhm.
And so you have to be more aware on a paired board like this.
And if you
Um,
want to get something realistic, we would change it to cutoff versus button. The cutoff raise and the button three bets and then the cutoff calls would be,
Yeah,
would be closer to this guy's range,
yeah, that's probably true.
but
But
we
let's
don't-
soldier on here.
Yeah.
So
we need to change that.
check. And yeah, we range betting.
Yeah, he ranged bet his ace.
Do we have that much of a range of in? We just have more jacks.
Mm.
Do we have trips more? UTG has trips more. Yeah, okay. We still bet, we check. He bet, what size
Yeah,
did he use in game?
Let me go
He
back.
went small.
Okay, we're not supposed to do, I'm surprised about this sizing here.
He bet 7 into 23.
Right, bet a third, right? So we're only supposed to do that with jacks with
Mm.
slivers every place else.
Mm.
Alright, so we'll just say B33, we've got slivers. This guy's never supposed to call or ignore his range, well,
See him, so so solver slow plays a lot of jacks.
solver is slow, let's see how much solver is slow.
Solver slow plays his quad threes, his trip three, his full house.
Yeah, solver is slow playing. Quite a bit, quite a bit. Let's
And,
see if that can,
and what's he doing with his ace five and ace four? If he's got a back door, he sometimes calls it. Okay, so he
Okay,
gets it with
so
an
this-
ace, got an ace.
so
to
our
begin.
maniac called, right?
Yep.
And then, now this is where this is where the real question is. Now we double pair board, 3 of hearts comes.
Yep.
Do we check back with a lot of our hands on double pair board? We just go for it. It looks like we're gonna go for it across a lot of our range here.
Yeah.
So we do have some slowdowns with like our ace high. So
Mhm.
his ace 10 probably falls, yeah, his ace 10 is gonna fall into this range. But we're gonna continue to polarize with the very bottom of range, with this got nothing except blockers to jacks. And slow playing the very top of range.
Yeah.
But he gets to his particular combo. He's mostly gonna continue the charade. But does have checking with this particular
Right, and what's his
combo.
combo was clubs.
His
So
was close,
Paul
yeah.
has a sliver, he can do it.
But he's mostly gonna polarize to B75. But he gets to do it, he checks. And now the real question is, how much of an EV call it is when the
Ace of
spades comes.
spades.
Motorhead visits. Ace of spades. And so he's gonna have donks here. He does, look at that, he very few bluff donks. He checks his aces. He doesn't really have any bluffs. All these bottom pairs that somehow got here. Not all these, but he's got some bottom pairs he's gonna bluff with. So
So, and look
He
at that king
checked.
jack, look at that
he
king.
donks, right?
king,
What
jack,
size
jack.
donk did he donk?
He donked 18, half pot.
Of course, he's never supposed to do that, but this might break solver because it's 0, so we might get no solution. Or it just won't be properly solved. Yeah, we get some solution. So he is now with his top pair. Yeah, he calls. He hero calls.
Never fold an ace.
It'd be very hard for me to find this with ace king.
Oh, no.
What's our EV? So, yeah, it's a slam dunk call.
Huh.
Yeah, we're just gonna call with this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. But then again, even on this double pair board, we see how important this kicker is now.
So much so that ace king raises.
So
which-
much, yeah, it's obviously a value raise. What's
Yeah.
its equity? Should see this demonstrated in equity too. Yeah, 72, but then look how precipitously, to use a fancy word, it begins to drop.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
anybody else want to see anything? That was my own little weird vision quest. I'll hand it back to you.
There we go. All right. That was that excitement. And now there's all the money there. Very happy. Queen Jack should be raising in the hijack. That's not very optional. That seems like that's close to 100%. King 10 suited has got to have some three bets there. Don't know how pure they are, but it's got to be there. Let's see. Oh, so he doesn't take it, and then it just folds around like that. Okay. Quick look at that. The hijack, the queen jack is mandatory. It's the queen 10, you can do it. And once he does it, that king 10 suited in the small blind. Yep. It's a never fold in this, which has the calls, and so. Yep. And then he limps it. No, he raises it, takes it. Good. Okay, there we go. Raise, fold.
I have a question.
yeah.
We know that cutoff is tight. His stats are 12-5. If he raises, I would not look at or actually he's hijacking this hand. I
Yeah.
would not look at a hijack versus
Smart.
small blind. I would look at like under the gun +2 on 9 max.
That's not bad. That is a nice adjustment. Let's go let's go back 2 seats to there. Give him the raise, and now look at the small blind. And now look at that king 10. It's still
It's still in there,
it's still in there.
but the queen jack is starting to fall out.
Yeah. Yeah. Queen jack is gone, yeah. And then that little anomaly, I think, is overspecified. Go all the way to here and see the small blind, see if that when the king 10 ever goes away. King 10 is robust. I mean, you got to get all the way to 9-handed under the gun before you start folding that king 10. Okay, here we go. Ace jack raise, king jack suited 3-bets him, but he at these stats, I think he's going to call. If he 3-bets, the king 9 needs to fold, and I think the ace jack suited just calls and they go see a flop. If he calls, the king 9 suited, I don't know. I would consider calling it. I would consider squeezing it. And then I would change my mind and not squeeze it against the low jack and say I'd squeeze it against a later position. That's my thought process. Raise, call, which is what we expected. And now this king 9. I think I call here.
I think I lean towards fold.
Yeah, let's see what it is. So I'm gonna look at this two ways here really quickly. Change to the 6. There we go. 6, which is 100. There we go. We're in it. Okay.
You won't get it in that one.
All right. I need a call. You're right. Let's go back to the 150. There, 150. Thank you. All right. So this was a hijack raise. And then it's the queen jack was the cut. No, low jack cutoff. Low jack raise. Cutoff when he's allowed to call and he has a king jack is he can do either one, but it's still a majority raise. So even given the choice to call, it's not the main line. When he takes it, the big blind with his king 9 suited, right there, cuspy. So better fold than call, not enough to squeeze. And he played it. And he could win this hand. Check, check, check. That makes it harder for him to win the hand. That's a bad card to bluff his 9 with. So now check. Probably check, check, check. Maybe the ace jack bets it. Oh no. If he can follow up this with a bet on the river, it's his. Now he doesn't have to. Is the ace jack gonna sniff this out and take it away?
No, he's been tight.
Yeah,
I think he's just been playing his hands.
I've done this. I have definitely looked at a one big blind bet and say no. I have
It's just a pot odds situation, right?
yeah, you could call it, but if you look at this, I mean, if you look at this and say, I'm never beating this bet, so, and I refuse to fold to it because my own ego, then they get you to go crazy, but there it does.
Oh, you're right. It
No,
is.
I would call this all day. I'm just saying that villain is gonna fold any unpaired hand to that.
Right, but are you ever raising this? Are you ever raising the four liner to this size bet?
Not with this combo.
If I had jack high, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. What a bizarre, but to think your ace is good means that, what a bizarre size to bluff. His 4 3 is 4 deuce, what?
So 6% of the time, well, 6 out of 100 times, you have to win to make this profitable.
Right,
But you're right. From a tilt perspective, these situations are very tilting.
yes.
It's just
I-
frustrating.
When I've been forced by my hand and what I think the situation is to do this, I feel so bad.
So, quick,
Which, by the way, is
go
not.
through the action again real quick, because I wonder if we can find a in position raise here. Multi-way. He bets. He gets there, yeah.
I could, yeah. you could-
Multi-way though.
You mean now? Oh, but it's not,
Uh, Yeah, but he bet into 2 people,
right.
so he bet into 2 people
I
on turn.
think he has something. I just don't think he has an 8.
How often, uh, what combos are you going to bluff raise in position here? What makes a good combo to bluff raise in position? I would-
Anything that blocks an 8. Which unfortunately
Anything blocks an 8,
is
yeah.
9,
Like
8, which you don't need to bluff with.
you may have, well, he opened.
Yeah.
Or he may not have anything, but in that seat. I might have like. Jack 10 of clubs,
Mm-hmm.
that would call the turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be, oh, Jack 10 of clubs is a straight, isn't? No, it's missing the 8. Jack 10
So
of clubs would be a good combo to,
maybe the question becomes, how often is he going to induce? I don't think very many people use an induce play. I mean, I might be influenced by seeing the cards, but, and I don't think I do it very often, but I wonder how often does it make sense to find a combo to bluff raise in position?
Set abs is doing it.
Setups just, yeah, we all need to find an inner setup sometimes.
Yeah, that's it's just simply I'm just overreading into, I'm reading in such a way that I can be exploited. That when you have the 8 and you want me to bet, this is and you want a bigger pot, this is the size you bet.
oh wait,
Yeah.
in the way this hand played out, he could also have ace queen.
Yeah.
When the small blind bets on the turn,
You can have ace queen.
you're not supposed to raise ace queen, you're supposed to just call.
Oh, wait a minute, this guy, you mean ace jack can be ace queen?
Yeah,
Okay,
so you just call there,
right,
he folds, now
Yeah.
your head's up with ace queen.
yeah, you just call.
No, you can raise it.
Okay,
Ace queen, on
Yeah,
a 4-liner
fold.
though, against big blind,
Yeah, not with a 4-liner.
no, yeah, I mean, the whole thing is a 4-liner. Yeah, I'm never going to raise any made hand against, I'm never going to raise any hand that could be good against him. I don't think ace jack is ever good.
oh, you're raising an 8. But,
No, I said I'm not raising any hand. I said, I don't think.
your four
I don't
combos of
think
ace,
it's good.
ace, eight.
I don't think this
suited,
hand is good. And the question is, of the hands that I don't think are good, how many of them am I gonna raise? And I think a lot of them.
My question is, how often can we find? Cause I see this, I'm sure you guys do too. I
Yeah.
see this a lot. Usually not this extreme, a tiny size, but, how often can we find an imposition bluff raise to this blocker? And what sizing do we need to go? Cause we're representing an eight. So. I think our sizing. We go, I think we probably, so the pot now is, I think we have to go B15? Maybe B10? I don't know.
B15 of the pot or B15?
Sorry, that doesn't make sense. B75,
Yeah, B75 to B100. Yes.
because our value has to make, our bluffs have to mimic value. And I think I would probably go B75 with my eight.
Yeah, 75 to 125. And with an 8, I don't know if I want to go 125 with an 8. I know I want to do that with 8-10. With the nuts, want to bet big and get called by an 8.
Yeah. But I just think. My real question is how often you guys think this sizing, this blocker sizing is a telegraph of hand value as opposed to a BSTI. And if it's a telegraph of hand value 90% of the time, then we should be raising a position at a very high frequency.
Right. If it's a telegraph of bet value 90% of the time, then the size of that indicates what the size of our bet should be.
Well,
So that they don't win back enough in the 10% of the time to make up for the money that we win.
Larry, you're close. But for me to like really get out of line, I need to know that he can bet fold a blocker sizing bet. Cause usually it's done with something like second pair. And a lot of people may call off with second pair.
Yeah, I see your point. I agree.
They
Yeah.
need to be able to bet fold.
Yeah.
If they can bet fold, yeah, then go for it.
Yeah, I see your point.
Fold, raise, fold with the 5-4. No 3 bets with a 5-4 suited in the small blind. They come from the big blind. Raise, fold, and then the Jack-9 suited can mix calls and raises, and I think mostly calls. Let's see that. There's the 250, there's the fold, there's the call.
Are you sure 5-4 suit? I might hit 5-4 suited from the
I
small
thought the
blind.
small blind didn't have any of those suited connector raises in the small blind. I thought they were all in the big blind there. Oh, I'm wrong. It's got a little bit of it. There's a little bit of it.
You gotta hit your
can do
3
it.
bets.
Yep, you can do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get up to a Joey level of 14%. It's not
I know
easy.
these.
Hmm.
Got all these. But the big blind has it across the board in there. And the Jack-9 is heavy on it. I expect to see a call, which we did. There. This would be a good, I believe, check raise because check raising on paired boards is a good way to defend. I know that's a tournament thing.
I think the big blind range might have some donks here too.
Okay. We could see that if we want, but also
Yeah.
this 7 is not a big card for the button compared to the big blind. So there are lots of reasons to check raise this hand, I think, for the Jack-9. He checks, he bets, he raises. He knows this.
What?
The big check raise.
It's hard to call with this combo and a paired board.
Yeah,
Yeah. This guy is either
Yeah, let's run this.
a
I
G.
think probably in.
Yeah.
Theory, this is a call a lot, but.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. The 6, does he continue? And now it's over. Wow.
So,
Yeah, let's take a look at this one.
alright, here, just leave that up for a second.
I'll go to
Can you
next.
go back just so we can have this combo? Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Don't
Ready
go
for-
yet.
When
I've
you're
been
ready.
seeing some paired boards, the big blind gets a little bit of donking.
Alright, I got it.
Okay, good. And then we are, for time, we're gonna go on till, I think we're getting close to 3 hours now. Yep, 11 to 2. Yeah, so we'll go on to one hand for me and then we'll be done with this. All right. So the 9-8, this is gonna be our hand. This will be our last hand because I am calling this 9-8. This 9-8 is a raise in the small blind in the, in my new chart, which I obviously didn't implement earlier today. But I expect to call from him. Nope, there's the raise. And the Jack 8 suited is defending all day long, mostly by calling. Against the small blind, because it's in position. You don't have to raise it. Small blind raise. Big blind. Yeah, you don't need to be raising that. Much crappier to raise. Here we go. There's the call. I get to see it. And this hand plays itself. Bet, call. Bet. Now it plays itself worse. I think I call and then I lose on the river. There's the call.
Still plays itself. You should fold.
You think I should just fold there? Okay, when it completes. And there's the check, and I'm just a check behind and lose $11. What a
Because
great,
now your second pair, he double barreled.
yes,
Your second pair, when a flush comes in and.
Yeah.
Like if it was a 7 of spades, that makes it harder.
right. But
But I think being an overcard and he double barrels with the flush coming in, I think that's a fold.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, Joey. I think we might get more calls because it's blind versus blind in theory.
Yep.
But I think in again population, I think we can overfold.
we're gonna look at that one.
Especially this
You
villain.
can look at your last one if you want.
That villain was like. Kind of nitty.
Yeah, he was our,
Yeah,
he's
that's a good point.
he was our tight guy.
Alright. Yeah, so you're right, Joey. We do get some range donks on this.
Yeah.
I assume this is across all of range, yeah.
Mhm.
So it is, so. Check. What was,
He had
we got-
king jack off.
King Jack off with a king of diamonds.
and then what size
I
did
think he
use?
went small.
He went 1. He went tiny, 1.73.
Okay, and then what is our check raise frequency? Yeah, so
Jack 9 suited.
this makes sense, guy, because we have more sevens.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I assume, and maybe, Joey, you can confirm this. I assume that if we're gonna have a donking frequency on a board, we're gonna also have a high check raise frequency,
Yeah.
because
'Cause
obviously,
We're gonna have a donking frequency because we have nut advantage and either equity. How do I put this? We're pretty close in equity or might be slightly ahead.
yeah. Which we can see here, we have a little bit of a nut advantage here. Okay, so. We get lots of check raises. The question now becomes is where do from our flush draws do we draw these? And I guess we're gonna draw them from. So this is something we've seen a lot, right? So the part of our range down here. Which is not ace high, the best king high is gonna be, have higher XR frequency. Cause we wanna generate folds, I assume, right? Hold up better here.
And the Jack 9
And
is,
then the ace highs can start calling.
Yeah, ace high, yeah.
and the Jack
He
9,
chose, oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was saying our particular Jack 9 suited is,
It's XRing more than it's calling.
yep, can do either one, no folds. Right.
No folds. What do our trips do out of curiosity? Well, we can flop the house. So our trips are mixing.
Yep.
And our quads are not slow playing on this board.
In the trips. Can you look up a couple to see what the clubs are doing?
Sure, that's a good
Are
question.
clubs check raising more or less?
So that was gonna,
Oh,
so
wait. They're
seven
king-
clubs is on board.
King
yeah,
diamonds. No,
seven
we can't have
clubs
it.
on the board.
You can't have it.
So, okay, so we check raise. Did he choose what size did he choose? He chose a big size, right?
It was, give me a second and I will,
Yeah, he bet 8. It was the one,
he check raised to 8. Yeah, it was a big one.
Okay, we'll give him the big one.
825 is what he went to.
Now, this is the other question. Do we call with our, so. And also a question for you guys. I think he generally is gonna have to fold this, except he is now indifferent with his backdoor draw.
Yeah.
So his combo was,
The king of diamonds, jack of whatever, jack of
yeah,
clubs.
jack of clubs. And he is indifferent. Yeah, he's indifferent. So he made a wide call. And that's against solver, right?
Yeah.
And we know humans are not gonna have anywhere near the right amount of XR bluffs.
especially the net. He's not gonna have,
Yeah, good point, especially in it.
Yeah, although the guy did have it. He did have a bluff. A high equity bluff.
He did, yeah, you're right.
Bluff.
He found, I think he's probably a pretty rock, kind of a rock player.
Yeah.
Okay, so we called, but let's see, I'm sure this is gonna be very equity driven. Yeah, it's very equity driven. Our call range. Even our raises are very, look how we have very few bluff re-raises here.
Yeah.
It's just the very top, it's our sevens.
I
Maybe
don't-
our
don't-
A7 wants to raise because it wants.
Yeah.
To get value from flush draws, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
wait, no, oh,
sorry,
okay, yeah, alright,
okay, so
call.
call. It's the 6 of spades, right?
Turn is the 6 of spades.
And do we continue to, so I think solver's gonna check its FDs a lot here. But I could be wrong, which looks like I am wrong.
No,
Flush
because so many of
draw.
those flush draws are, I mean, you only got there with the flush draw version of those hands. So it
Yeah,
wasn't- yeah.
so, yeah. So I thought sometimes it would check call. Sometimes with this combo, but I was wrong. So, yeah, so it's now, we're continuing to be 75, which is exactly what he found.
You found a
But
75.
notice that oh, sorry, one quick thing. Interesting thing now is that when he turned a pair equity, he's now checking.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't
Yeah.
need you to fold anymore.
Yeah.
Except for
Um,
the ace 6.
Yeah, which probably is because
Six
it's the
does
top
count.
of the weight.
Yeah,
What,
does.
did you want to say something?
Nope, that's it.
Okay,
I wanted to look real quick at the last hand,
sure.
just seeing when this jack 8 folds. So this
Let me
is
just look at this
almost
real quick, just
different.
to understand where our bluffs are coming from.
Okay.
So trash hands, like. Yeah, so we're getting some other interesting kind of. Well, that's not a trash hand. Why is it classifying as a trash hand? Alright, let's forget that. Okay. Then you'll run you wanna finish off by running the blind versus blind spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And while you're setting that up, it is the hand, it's small blind versus big blind, 5 of spades, 8 of hearts, deuce of spades.
oh, you didn't have me do this whole, okay, it's small blind raise.
Yeah, small blind raise, big blind call. 5 of spades, 8 of hearts, deuce of spades. And for people to join us in this exciting, fun 3 hours that we do
Eight,
twice a week.
not ace.
8,
Could you repeat again?
8 of hearts, deuce of spades.
8 of hearts. What was
Five
the
of-
ace?
5 of spades. There is no ace. 5 of
Okay, 5 of
spades,
spades,
deuce of spades.
use of spades. Okay. Is
All
that right?
Yep, that's the board. The poker coaching Discord channel for people to see, they can just go to that, right? You don't have to be,
Yeah, it's free for everyone.
right, so I'll
Yeah,
show
that's
you what
free.
it is. Okay, so you go to Discord. This is for anybody who wants to join us. It's only 3 hours of your life, twice a week. Poker coaching, yeah, discord.com, go to the poker coaching channel or the poker study for you, which I think that's an invite, poker study for you. So go to poker coaching, click on study groups, and you will see, and then go to the cash game study groups, because the tournament study groups are not any good. They're really a lot of fish in that, really nothing to learn.
Alright, so we have this, a lot of checking going on, right? It's
Yeah.
gonna be 60,000 combos versus 60,000
Wait.
combos here.
For those that need a sarcasm sign, that was sarcasm. They're not
Yes.
fishing the
That was sarcasm.
tournament.
The tournament thing is 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 7 AM Pacific time, run by Louis Philippe with some excellent tournament players and a lot of great information. They do 2 hours every other day. They run hand histories of people who win tournaments, unlike us who run hand histories of people who lose money, but they don't get to see all the cold cards and we do. So
We choose to pay more rake and experience more pain.
exactly. But in our study sessions, we get to see what actually happened as opposed to what we thought was happening. All right. Thank you, honey. So let's take a look at this guy and then we will be done.
Okay, what was your combo?
My combo was the beautiful ace eight, jack eight. Now I don't remember.
Jack eight.
Jack eight suited.
And you were in position, right? You're
Jack
big
eight
blind?
suited in position. Yes. Yes, that's what
Alright, so what did our villain do on flop?
on the flop. He bets 3 into 5.
That's small.
So he bets 3 into
Oh.
5. He bets just over
So
half pot.
it's 3 to 6. Do you want to make it B75 or B50?
B50, closer to that.
Okay, B50. And you've got the jack eight suited.
Of clubs, and I call and saying that this hand plays itself.
And you call.
Sure do.
Oh, we're going about what? Okay, now I remember the hand. I was doing something else when we were looking at it. But
Yeah.
look, you're getting in position range if you've got pair plus
Pair and a spade
front door
draw.
draw.
Yeah, and even
You
then
wanna
you
build a pot. This is
Yeah.
about building a pot. Let's see what your equity is here quick.
a lot.
Yeah, look at how much, that's about 10% more. Yeah, you got a shit ton of equity right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Okay, I'm gonna look
Now
at this real
turn is
quick.
the 9 of spades. This is
Let me
where,
just do this sorry, let me just do this real quick.
Yeah.
Guys. Cause then I'm curious about how much your equity changes depending on kicker. Yeah, 69 versus. Not really that much of a stretch. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, so,
but
sorry, so-
the betting is linear until you get to the 10. The 10 and the 9 have more than the jack. And I guess because they block.
so
Okay.
what's turn?
The
Nine of
turn
spades,
is the 9 of spades. And this is where the misery comes in.
and he bets large.
His bet size is 5 into 11, 50%.
Yeah, so I think we get calls because it's blind versus blind. Sorry. That's my theory, and I could be totally wrong
50%.
for the first time ever. So what are our eights doing? Let's just go to second pair.
Jack eight is starting to be indifferent.
Starting to fold. Let's take a look at this, if the suit matters on that jack eight suited.
Yeah, so we're indifferent.
Doesn't matter. Suit doesn't matter. Just,
Yeah, so we're indifferent. Let's just be geeky for a second.
And if you're indifferent, you can fold versus the nit.
yeah. Yep,
I
I
think
can,
that's good advice. So. Okay, so you call, right?
yeah,
And. What is our?
river is the 6 of clubs. He checks.
So he took a stab and then he
No,
gave up,
he
right?
goes big. He checks. He checks the 6 clubs. Yeah, he checks with the flush out there.
Okay, flush comes in, he chooses to check.
Yeah, I mean, he
Just out
bet
of
when
curiosity.
flush comes in, but he decides he's not going to bet again.
He's got a, common polarized strategy, like he's having a blocker to the flush.
Yeah.
He checks.
And his hand is the 8-9, and the 9-8 does check there.
Okay, so what do you do now? So your only question now is if you value bet with your eight, right?
I think you're turning it into a bluff when you bet it, that jack eight.
You're just taking your
No,
equity.
the jack eight there is the jack eight of spades. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead, sorry.
I made a statistical reasonable call on the turn that against population is probably a better fold.
Yeah, that's the argument. And
Yeah.
then, so you've got a nice polarized strat here.
Yeah,
Just check, check, right?
The
Okay.
river will always look like that. If I'd be more surprised if you came across a river with a linear strategy.
Well, I think it's also because it went check, check, right? So this is what we see.
well, it went check, not check.
Oh.
Yeah. Bet, his
I
line is
mean-
bet, check.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
This is always when you check two on a river, it should always almost look like this.
On with a,
Agreed. I just think it's really pretty in a geeky kind of way. In a geeky city graph kind of way. And
Eh,
also
I
it's
don't,
interesting to see
I
where
don't
where our
necessarily
bluffs
like
come
that
from.
graph.
yeah, and fun to see what
Nothing
goes into
special
it.
about it. I just,
I like it because
Okay.
I can quickly understand where my bluffs are coming from.
Okay.
And like, okay, here's a heuristic. When we get here and it goes checks to us, here's our heuristic. We bluff a lot with no equity blocking the flush.
Yeah.
Okay, well, once I've seen that 18 times, maybe I'll figure it out. And so I can very quickly understand why the
Oh, okay.
components of our bluffing range.
But the best
Alright,
part of this is we've now
alright,
had.
maybe I'll apologize on that, cause like, to me, it's like, yeah, obviously, but then,
Yeah, not everybody's on.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not natural to me to think about bluffs. That's why I'm always coming back to this.
And I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Oh, go
So
ahead.
you're trying to learn where to pick up the bluffs from.
Yeah, that's been one of the most instructive parts of the city graph for me.
Oh, okay.
But I see, yeah, I could see where you're coming from, Joey. Yeah, of course, your bluffs are gonna be composed of bluff blockers, but it's really good for me to see that it over and over again. It takes me a while to learn things.
Yeah.
Um,
I like to say, nut blockers is the word. You said bluff blockers, but what you meant
oh,
was,
sorry, nut blockers.
Yeah.
Sorry, YouTube, I meant nut blockers.
there you go.
And let me tell you, I've dated a few of those in my day.
And with that, that will be our session for today. Tomorrow, I'm gonna open the room and then I will, because tomorrow I'm flying, so I will probably like be in and out, but I'll definitely open the room for you guys.
Well, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Appreciate you
Alright,
opening it.
thanks.
Okay,
See ya.
all right, see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Dean.
Tomorrow.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Joey. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dean.
Thanks, guys. Mañana.